Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful night. And welcome to my birthday celebration. We will be rocking till midnight tonight, or rather, midnight tomorrow. But yeah, it's going to be a night of just fun, celebration. Heck, ask me some questions if you want. All sorts of stuff. And yes, there will most likely be trolls in the chat. They have been harassing me and others if I am in the chat or on the streams. They seem to think some weird, perverted stuff about me, and it just goes to show that, well, I've pissed off. Anyway, it is my 38th birthday, and Junebug Films, how you doing?
Good. 2 more years till 40.
Yeah, I know, right? And yes, I even got the receding hairline to show it, but I'm not going to show you all on here. That would just be too disturbing. But anyway, thank you, Jedi Padawan Trailer. Good to see ya. And Vanja, thank you for wishing me happy birthday again. And hey, Cold Classic Cage, how you doing? Thank you for the birthday wishes. Actually, I got a lot of people on Twitter to actually wish me happy birthday. I tried doing a post where I tagged Elon saying, wonder if I could get Elon Musk to wish me happy birthday. I doubt, but you know what? One could wish, you know.
Hey.
But
the world already needs plenty of dreamers, so if you could, Elon Musk, one can dream.
Yeah, I know, right? Also, I do have a pinned post on my Twitter, folks. If you want to, or there's a poll that I have going about the general amnesty on Twitter. If you want to take part in that poll, please also retweet that poll. It really does help if you actually retweet it. Don't just look at it or click on it. Or actually click the like, because also that gives it a little bit more attention. But also retweet it. Quote retweet if you can't retweet more than once. Hi, Elves of Red Hollow. Thank you for the happy birthday wishes. And for those of you who are just joining, make sure to smash that like button, but also celebrate or help celebrate by smashing that like button. So yeah, also today is a day where we could all talk about cool stuff and what's going on. I had a nice birthday today. I had a birthday dinner. Got a couple of things that I ordered for myself, birthday presents and whatnot. I got my brother, who's coming up in a couple weeks, a nice little gift because he's stopping up to do some ice fishing, and this gift might actually help him with that too. If he catches anything. It's a tracker knife. Now, I can't show the knife on here because apparently YouTube actually frowns if you show weapons on the stream, or on streams and whatnot. And it's like, well, that's kind of counterproductive if you ask me. I'm just saying. But yeah, and I also love the fact that I got an early birthday present the day before my birthday. Alec Baldwin and Hannah Gutierrez Reed are now formally charged for the shooting death of Helena Hutchins. So that was a nice birthday present. And it looks like we got one of the people. So yeah, goodbye. Censorship is wrong, people.
That's awesome. Let's hope Alec Baldwin gets at least. He's probably. I mean, at least he's looking at 10 years. I bet because celebrity clout, he's going to get maybe 5 at the most, is what I say. But
he's going to get 5 at the minimum, because if the DA, which is within their rights, they don't pursue a plea, he can actually get a minimum of 5 years, which is mandatory in the state of New Mexico. If he's convicted, it's a mandatory 5 years in prison if the involuntary or manslaughter charge involves a gun.
Yeah, I mean, see, if I was actually the lawyer too, I mean, I would actually charge him with obviously homicide, even manslaughter.
That's or homicide wouldn't stick. That or homicide and murder both imply intent.
Or manslaughter and probably negligence with firearm.
Criminal negligence plus other stuff most likely is going to happen. And we got a buddy in here who I knew was coming. Thank you for coming in. How you doing, Jay?
Hey.
How you doing?
So yeah, hopefully he gets at least 5 years. And I know there's even, there's a reason why I know his oldest daughter doesn't even talk to Alec Baldwin anymore. So,
well, yeah, because she actually doesn't drink the same Kool-Aid that he does.
Yeah, well, there's also in the state of California, there's a reason also why even Kim Basinger got full custody, which, you know anything about divorce cases, it's for the woman to get full custody is pretty. Usually they do try to push for co-custody a lot of times in the States. So
yeah.
So
well, celebrities always have messy lives, and if you ask me, they honestly need to be held to a high or to a semi-higher standard.
Mm-hmm. See, we're still bringing it up a little bit, but the Will Smith thing, I think that he just got a 10-year ban from the Oscars. If I would actually say that SAG should have gotten involved, and they should have taken away his SAG card.
Mm-hmm.
Because that would mean basically then he would have to be forced to do like Steven Seagal level action movies. Then
Yeah. I love what Cult Classic Cassie just said here. You can't go through life being so self-centered like that, living in complete ignorance. Sad someone's life was lost in this. Indeed, it really is.
Yeah,
go ahead.
And, the sad part of it is I'm a sucker for Westerns, and like that new movie that Nicolas Cage did, The Old Way.
Yeah.
I don't really want to watch it because she was the armory master. So
was that the movie, or was it? Or I think it was the movie that was The Old Way, because I remember reporting on how Nicolas Cage actually reamed that bitch for it.
Well, yeah, Nicolas Cage is, he's just one of the quiet, good people in Hollywood that just does his job, and I know he's actually very pro-gun, Nicolas Cage. So,
oh yeah,
and he laid down the hammer on her. Nice. He actually said that I actually heard Nicolas Cage say that Sean Connery taught him a lot about guns. So,
well, Sean Connery probably would know a little bit about guns. I believe he was once in the military.
Yeah, he was. He would have been
in the Scottish or the British military.
Yep. So I hope this is not just a slap on the wrist because he's Alec Baldwin thing. So,
well, that, or with the way that the DA is talking, I don't think they will.
Yeah, let's.
Van Hoek, if they remove Rust, will I watch and review it? No. No, I will not. I will not support a film that was continued after there was a death in the film. And if, put it this way, the only way I will review it is if Alec Baldwin is held responsible for, or is actually convicted of the involuntary manslaughter. Hey, guys.
Hey.
I was having some audio troubles. My wife was trying to help me out.
Can you hear us clearly?
Yeah, it was just echoing back, and you were repeating back and forth.
Oh, sorry about
Right
that.
there.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't your end. It was on my end.
We had two
There we
YouTube
go.
videos going at the same time.
Happy birthday.
Am I
Thank
good?
you. And Super Sci-Fi, how you doing?
Hey, Super Sci-Fi.
Hey, Super
But-
Sci-Fi.
Yes, to answer Van Hope's comedy, no, I will not review it unless he is convicted of and put in prison for 5 years. If he is, I will
comedy?
watch and review Rust.
Oh, Rust. Oh.
But
That's
here's
all-
the thing, that's kind of a catch-22. I won't watch it if he's not held accountable because that will ensure it's made. However, if he is held to account, the movie may not be finished. I am hoping that the trial and all that happens during the time of the production of the film.
I'm on your side with that, too. I'm not going
I
to
can see-
support
I-
Rust at all.
I could see most likely he might be a producer on it, but it happens during the trial. They might just the money providers, like the whatever production company was behind, would probably just say, "Well, he's in jail. How much footage have they actually shot, and look to see if they can actually replace him."
No, they can't. Not at this point.
It depends how much is already shot from the movie. I mean,
Yeah. To answer Super Sci-Fi,
we don't have that information, so
yeah. To answer Super Sci-Fi, I have been getting these idiots for a while now. Apparently, they've latched on to something I admitted a year or two ago. But now they're accusing me of being a groomer. That is not true. The whole demisexual thing basically means that their only way that I could be sexually attracted to somebody is through their personality, if their personality meets the right criteria, or intellect or level of intellect meets the right criteria. That's all that meant. Or that's all that basically is. Unless they get up here, they ain't getting down there, you know? That's all that is. But them saying that I'm a groomer and other things, let them say what they want. They aren't harming my reputation. They aren't harming anything. However, I do have an idea of who might be behind these troll attacks and whatnot, because the timing is too coincidental, because these attacks are specifically against me. Not to mention, it's been 5 years now that a mandatory protection order has been dropped. So it gives an accuser of mine, a false accuser of mine, latitude to start harassing me again. So, yeah. They might be the one behind it. I'm not saying one way or another that they are. I'm saying they might be. There's no way to confirm it, and I don't want anybody to go after them on my behalf. I will take care of it as they appear in the chat. However, if everybody else wants to come on in and say hi and happy birthday and whatnot, keep the love coming. That's all I could say. I'll take care of the trolls and whatnot.
Sounds like the trolls just need to go back to mommy's basement and have the mountains of pizza boxes and drink a bunch of Code Red and all that stuff, you know?
You're right.
I mean, go ahead and make your Leaning Tower of pizza and go bother some other, I don't know, go bother one of the channels that actually deserve trolls.
I mean, they're just grasping at straws is all they're doing, too.
I know. Well, that's the thing about that's the funny thing about trolls.
The case,
right?
The case is complicated, Vanja. If you want to know the full or most of the details, go to look for a video of mine on my channel called "Time for a Serious Discussion." that will explain the full details. It's an hour-long video. I did it back in 2019. So, yeah. But anyway, we're moving away from that. Not going to talk about that crap. But, yeah, that was a great, the whole Alec Baldwin thing, that was a great early birthday present. I ordered myself a musical keyboard because I want to get back into working my hands on a keyboard again. I can play by ear, so I enjoy doing that, and I found a fair bit of music that I want to try seeing if I could play a bit of it. Might be doing it on stream too. I mean, if they don't freaking copyright claim me, you know.
I've
Vanja?
actually gotten back into playing guitar again. So
I think if you do if you do it original, like if you do it in an original way, they can't really get you on that. Like if you do it an octave higher or lower than the original.
Even then, sometimes I know a guy through YouTube. He made his own music and he got copyright claimed, and he owned the music.
Wow.
FIFA went after me
How
for a
the
video.
fuck does that happen?
I don't know. And he actually, but he knew some. He got lucky because he knew some lawyers and actually contacted YouTube and just said, "Hey, can you guys take care of this?"
Wow.
And,
But, yeah.
Wow.
He made the music. He owned the copyright. Like he.
Alright, go to my channel.
I was attacked once by FIFA for a music and a soundbite that I used in one of the Out of the Hollow chapters, and it was a completely created soundbite for one, and so was the music, and so
I mean,
FIFA.
I got a copyright claim for using Beethoven. Beethoven is public domain. He has no family left. There are no more Beethoven. There are no more Beethoven. So, like, how did Beethoven basically get a copyright claim? Anybody can use it. I mean,
the ghost of Beethoven.
Yeah,
demands you to stop, cease, and desist.
I mean, even I've used Bach, and Bach. Despite how many Bachs there are that were composers, there are no more Bachs left. I mean, unless Sebastian Bach of Skid Row is claiming that he's a Bach now.
Yeah, it's insane.
I know. Well, it's
I'm unable to find the damn thing. The stream that because they're not putting it up on my channel or in the search results. But I will look for it when I'm done the stream. Okay, Vanja?
But I mean, if you look back, and Disney's done like a lot of crap. But if you go like way back to when they first got Disney, when they first got Peter Pan, and later on in the years, they claimed, well, that's our property, when it was a part of the J.M. Barrie family who he had lended to the Great Ormond Children's Hospital, and they actually owned the rights for the longest time there. And what ended up happening was the Fox channel at the time that wasn't a part of Disney was in a big beef with Disney, and they said, we want to make our own Peter Pan show. And they made a Peter Pan show, and it was semi-popular, but it got canceled, even though it had a good fan following. And it got canceled because, well, Disney came in and said, no, we have Peter Pan or whatever. It's like, no.
Disney's done they've done a lot. They have a lot of issues with their copyright. I mean, as we know, Mickey Mouse is going to go into the public domain next year, which I envy anybody who says we're going to make a Mickey Mouse horror movie. I'm like, I will envy anybody who does that, because I just as a safe bet, I would not call it Mickey Mouse, because Disney would probably be trademarking the name.
Oh, yeah.
Where you can use the character, but you can't call him Mickey Mouse. You probably can't call him Mickey Mouse in the title. Like you probably be a safe bet calling
Ricky.
him. I mean, I think it would be really funny. For those who don't know, I can even prove how serious they were. You know, the band Rat was originally called Mickey Rat.
Really?
And yes, and they said, well, that's too close to Mickey Mouse. And they were not even a signed band, and Disney threatened to sue them.
Wow.
I tell them this flat out: you can't sue on the basis of Mickey Rat because they're separate, or they may both be rodents, but they're different subspecies. You have no basis for you have no basis for your
exactly
for your suit. I move to dismiss.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Stephen Piercy, and all those guys were like young 21-year-old kids, so they get a huge fine from Disney. It's like, what do they don't know any better,
Exactly.
So
Man, lawyers are called sharks, but the lawyers of Disney are more like snakes because they just toss them out and they all go out in different directions looking for somebody to sue.
Oh yeah, I mean, believe me, I mean, as somebody who actually kind of tried to pursue being chairman of Disney, and still to some extent kind of am, there's going to be some cleaning of the House of Mouse.
Yeah.
It would be no more not Mr. Nice Guy about it. Run the company with a little bit of fear and respect. So
somebody needs to definitely go in like a tyrant and just say, "Hey, that's enough. That's not how you make money."
That was the plan. Because I was gonna, I'm more of the creative mind, because I have a friend of mine who went to business school and is a how do I put this in a basically this guy spoke up against the bishops at his church, so very tough guy, and nobody's going to mess with him because he's 6'6", So
what shocked me, what really shocked me about anything that they've really done is talking down to their investors. You don't talk down to your investors, dude. What's wrong with you?
Well, I would kind of basically, let's put it this way. I would basically tell the employees, every employee that works for you, for Disney, that we would make it a rule in their contract that your job is to discuss the film and Disney only. If you discuss anything outside that could divide the public between us, you will get fired.
No, that makes sense.
And if you do, and it's not even a, you did a bad job. It's like, hand them the pink slip and tell them to have a Disney day. For those who don't know,
that's one way of doing it.
For those who don't know, have a Disney day. If a park employee tells you to have a Disney day, that means F you. So
I've heard that's what it is.
That's what it is. That's what it means. So that's what I'd be doing, and there'd be a lot of cleaning house. I would be basically the entire board would actually be getting a makeover. Let's just say.
I've always said that Walt is rolling in his grave.
And Michael
he definitely is.
And Michael Eisner, and the guy's not even dead yet. I mean,
yeah. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. When I was a kid, everything was approachable with Disney. Everything, to the point where whoever was the spokesperson for Disney or whoever was managing Disney at the time, they would have a show or Wonderful World of Disney, whatever thing was on TV,
Mhm.
they would be there and they'd have their hand out and say, "Hello, I'm Michael Eisner," or "Hello, I'm Walt Disney. Welcome to my," whatever it is. I
Right.
want to show you around. I want to show you how this works.
Exactly.
And they never talked down to you. They talked to you, to the kids, to the teens, to
Mhm.
the adults.
Yes. Well,
Now
that's
it's just no,
Well,
we don't
that's-
do that anymore.
well. Here's the thing: Michael Eisner. For those who don't know the history, he was forced out of the company because Treasure Planet and Atlantis flopped. There was also a few flops at the park, and when the company's losing money, there has to always be an scapegoat.
Right.
Michael Eisner was the scapegoat, but Roy E. Disney. There's so many Roy Disneys. It's like confusing the history of Disney. So Roy E. Disney basically tried to turn the stockholders against Michael Eisner by making him look bad when he hired him.
Oh, wow.
But Michael
Wow,
Eisner,
dude.
when he knew
21st. 17 more, Bob. 17 more.
when he knew it was pretty much over, Michael Eisner did take the approach rather than just sticking it out. And I mean, honestly, what I would do if I was about to get voted out of the company would be like, I'm not leaving. That's when I lawyer up.
You gotta stick up for yourself,
He
People
decided
respect
to
that.
he decided to resign.
Yeah.
So it would be, if it was me, it'd be like, nope, I'm staying right here. I'm getting my lawyers.
And through all the mistakes he made, he kept that place going. He had heart, and you can see it in his face, and his eyes, the twinkle and everything.
Yeah, for my thing, honestly, he should have
Technically not.
find the part of his downfall was when Frank Wells died. He died in a helicopter crash, and he didn't really find a worthy successor. That was his start of his downfall. But if he found a worthy successor, I think Michael Eisner, I mean, even at 80 years old, we would still see him being the chairman of Walt Disney. But
definitely. Yeah, that sounds like it'd probably be.
But he didn't. I know he did not want Bob Iger to run the company. But the board wanted him. So.
Yeah. And he did little things here and there. Bob Iger did at first that were kind of good for the company, but then you started to see it all leak out, and you started to see all the things.
What I lost respect for is one of the first things he did, and this is proven too. I mean, look up the stuff with Abigail Disney. One of the first things he did when he got hired is he cut the park employees' pay.
Yeah.
And where Michael Eisner, it would be basically, according to my research, in modern terms, he basically paid the employees what would be equivalent of today getting paid $100 an hour.
And they don't get treated very well over there either.
No, but Michael Eisner treated it as if the janitor at the park, probably the lowest paying guy, could still pitch an idea to Michael Eisner, and they would see it. Then he says, that's how you create the magic. You make sure that this is more of a creative company rather than a financial.
Right.
And that's
Bob Iger. When it became financial, that's when they lost the fan base, the magic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because it proves that Michael Eisner was right. That's why he pitched himself to the board. That how Roy O. Disney was the guy who was the businessman and all this stuff, who basically got all the money, but Walt was the creative, and that's how Disney should be run. It should be run with two people, a creative and a businessman, not both. And
if I had to say one negative thing about him, though, is that when they bought Muppets, they didn't do anything with them at first, and then when they did do a ride, it was there and then was gone pretty much. And now, when they went back to the drawing board on Muppets, they went against one of the main actors who'd been there for the longest time and cut him out of the loop and everything.
Well, he got fired. Steve Whitmore, who was the guy who played Kermit for so many years, they fired him because, well, I mean, he hasn't really said specifically, but you could kind of put two and
Dakota.
I'm doing good. I just hopped on to wish you a marvelous happy birthday.
Hello.
Thank you.
You could kind of put two and two together. He basically stuck up against Disney because he said this is not how.
What are we talking about today?
We're just talking random stuff right now. Just letting it go over or do a random discussion.
So
okay, so if it's random today so far, I actually noticed something about about all the animated Disney movies.
Okay.
So you know how like there's that theory out there that all the Disney movies are interconnected somehow, one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Here's how I figured it out.
Okay.
Triton is Poseidon's son in Greek mythology, right? But Poseidon is also Zeus's brother. That would mean Hercules and Ariel are first cousins.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But Megara from Hercules is Mother Gothel, and there's another theory out there that she was at one point evil queen as well.
Yeah, I've heard this theory too. I find it rather interesting how they all interconnected, and they even have
the Nemean lion in
Frozen
Hercules
was connected to
from the Lion
Tarzan.
King. The Nemean lion in Hercules is Scar from the Lion King.
Yeah. They say that Frozen is connected to Tarzan.
Yeah, because Anna and Elsa are Tarzan's older brothers. Older sisters.
Mm-hmm.
The teapot from Beauty and the Beast is
Wow.
Yeah. There's even a Pixar.
It seems that the troll just fucking confirmed it. I'm sorry, folks. There was a troll in the chat that just fucking confirmed exactly who is behind the trolling and the harassment. Thank you for giving me what I need to sue the person responsible. You fucking retards.
Yeah.
The trolls, not anybody in this chat right now or the panel. But
hey,
now I know exactly who is fucking behind it.
So well, I did something this month too. I trademarked the name Junebug Films.
Oh, cool.
I actually have a lawyer now who, if any trolls actually steal this name, well, sure. Guess what? You could use the name. You just pay me $250,000.
Nice.
So yeah, I found a lawyer that agreed to do it, and yeah.
But you want to know how all the Disney movies are connected to be complete? Well, all the older Disney movies are connected.
Yeah, I want to know
even. Well, the older animated Disney movies are all connected because they were all together in one movie, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So there you go. That's how they are all connected.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. The sad part.
Classic though.
Yeah, the sad part is, Warner Brothers and Disney would never agree to have their properties in the sequel if they make it.
No, it wouldn't. Too much bickering, infighting, separation, all that stuff.
The only way it would happen. The only
But I just
way.
popped on to say happy birthday to Orange Hat. So
Thank you so much,
Nice to
Dakota.
meet you.
Nice to meet
Yeah.
you. The only way
She's
I
a
see it
friend that follows the channel.
The only way I see it happening, though, is unless you do a co-distribution deal where, like, Disney gets U.S., Warner Brothers gets domestic, something like that, or vice
Yeah.
versa. That's the only way I would see it, but I don't even know what you, because I know they're talking about it, but I don't even know what you do with Roger Rabbit 2.
Yeah. And at this point, I wouldn't support it anyways.
Well, you know what they'll do now? Like they'll basically. There's no like blunt way to say this. Basically, Jessica Rabbit would get a debut job.
Right? Yeah. No nice way around that.
I know. Stunning and brave. Thank you so much.
And like,
I mean, they've already messed her up. They took her out of the
Right,
ride,
Kitty.
and then
Good to see you.
They covered her or something, made
Mama
her more
Bear.
of
Thank
a-
you.
kind of a Sherlock Holmes type or something, solving a mystery. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
when did they do this?
I'd have to look back, but it was somebody they put in charge of. It's that one made up name for a job that really doesn't exist for sensitivities. I'm trying to think of what it is. Where
I didn't even know they did anything with Jessica Rabbit or Roger Rabbit because
Cartoon Town or something like that, or maybe it wasn't Cartoon Town. I can't remember exactly. It was a cart ride, but they had this woman go through each ride, and she had this clipboard with her, and she'd write down whatever she was offended about, and then she'd give it to them, and they go, "Oh, so other people must be offended by that." So they go, "Nope, we're wrecking that. Nope, we're wrecking that. No, we're wrecking that." It's like, are you kidding me?
Well,
it's one of the reasons why Splash Mountain got nixed.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm just gonna say this with the whole Splash Mountain thing.
It did the right. What?
I know a guy who goes to a lot of cons, and he knows a guy who sells bootlegs of Song of the South. Guess what he says his number one customer is when they buy bootlegs?
What?
Black people that want to buy Song of the South.
I mean, you look about what it did. It broke barriers at that time.
Because the movie is about their culture, the stories they would tell when they were slaves. And this guy, yes, he was a white guy, and he wrote down their stories for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, so, and Jim Baracus, the guy who played the lead, who played Uncle Remus.
He won an Oscar, didn't he?
Yes, he did, but he could not. He could not go. He could not go to the ceremony because during the filming of Song of the South, he was terminal.
Mm.
He was dying of cancer. That's one of the reasons why he's walking that chain. So
I did not know that.
He died like. He was so ill he could not even go to the Academy Awards, but he decided he's going to give this performance all for his family. So that's the frustrating part about the whole, banning.
That makes it worse.
Exactly. And, and here's the thing though. What Disney. I mean, I think they realize it, but this is one of the reasons why I say with the public domain stuff, by them not releasing it in basically on any format in the U.S., we're talking continental U.S., Canada, and all the other parts where it's released doesn't. That's not where we're. It's basically public domain in the continental U.S. because you haven't released it in 25 years. You've done nothing with it.
Right.
So,
and you know what's funny though? I can remember, and I must have been maybe 7, maybe a little older. I don't know, but I was pretty young. And I was on the school computer at the time, and it popped up, and there's this cheery black guy. He's singing about, zippity doo dah zippity a, and there's this rabbit bouncing around. I was like, what is this? This is captain. This is kind of neat. I like this. And I couldn't, for the longest time in my life, I could not figure out what that was, where that fever dream came from. But I know that I enjoyed it when I was watching. And there was nothing offensive in it that I could see other than a happy black man singing that you should have a happy day, forget about your worries and all that stuff and go on.
Yeah, well, it was my dad, Splash Mountain, when first time I went to Disney, that was the ride I rode over and over again. I wanted to see the movie. My dad found that this is even before eBay, before Amazon really was a big thing. I don't even know what site he found it on, but he found a VHS tape from Japan. And this is like...
Wow.
And I still have that VHS tape. Man, my dad, because he spent because he spent a lot of money, because he wanted to get it for me, because I wanted to see the movie, he basically spent his entire Christmas budget. So for everybody that year. So what he did then is he decided, he decided to then make copies of it.
And do you see anything wrong with it when you watched it?
No, it's. I guarantee I still have that VHS. The only thing that's not labeled, it's one of those ones, so I have to actually go physically find it. But I watched it recently. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's. Wow. It's just honestly. It's a lot more. It's the animation that for 1946 that they combined with the live action is a lot better. Yeah. Is a lot better than some of the package films that they did in World War II. It almost looks real. So
yeah. The clips that I've seen just blow my mind for that time. It's amazing.
There's ways to find it. Disney, if you post it on YouTube, they immediately copyright claim it, but I'm sure it's on other sites.
Yeah, and the thing is, Splash Mountain, it was not. It just featured the cartoon characters, and
well, that's the reason why.
I think it was 2 years ago that me and my family got it. No, not 2 years ago. Hey, hon, was it 2 or 3 years ago that we went to Disney?
2 years ago.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago that we went. And then shortly after we had come home, that's when we decided to cut ties with anything Disney. But we had went
Saw
there.
the evil up close, did you?
Well, it wasn't just that. We were in a haze, a sort of daze, I guess you could say. Do you know what I mean? We were still upset over what they were doing to Star Wars, but we still wanted to try and give the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it will cool over. Maybe it'll cool over. You give yourself these suppositions sometimes. And I think that's where we were. And even my kids were at that point, because later on, my kids, they've denounced Disney and said it sucks, compared to the stuff that I've shown them from the past of what Disney really should be. But we had gone there and we went on that ride, and I had a hold of Dana. Mm-hmm. And what had happened was Dana's my youngest, and she was too thin, too short to be on Splash Mountain, to the point where that thing went to my chest and she's clear back here. And I'm like, oh crap, we're going. I quickly grabbed her. I swiped her and I had a hold of her, and I'm just like, trying to hold on. I got this real weird look on my face. Even had to, I was like, you know what? I got to pay for a picture because of this. Oh, but the guy had let her on and didn't say anything about the height. And I talked to a guy named Gary, who was a friend of ours, and his girlfriend, who they worked at Disney, and we were getting half off. That's why we were able to go for a little bit lesser than what we would have if we went full price or whatever. And he looked at me and he said, she should not have been on there. She should not have been let on.
Well, I
said,
mean,
"Oh."
that's the thing about it. What is people don't realize is because the way the employees are treated, they have the attitude, I don't care. You know, like if you have your
Right.
you have a crappy job, you're like, oh well, I don't care. You know, fire me. That's always been their attitude since Bob Iger,
Yeah,
honestly. And
Sadly.
that's, and you know, it should be. I mean, again, it should be run where the like the little guy who cleans up the trash at the park.
Exactly.
You know,
and that park's big, man.
He can come to the boss and say, "Hey, I have an idea for a park, extension, or I have an idea for a movie." And it's like, okay, well, we'll see what we can do, and if we like it, sure, we'll do it. I mean, one of the things that was pitched to Michael Eisner, and Michael Eisner said, interesting idea, but I don't think we could do it. They wanted to make a Mickey Mouse hotel, basically a giant Mickey hotel.
Uh-huh.
But Michael Eisner kind of made the joke, I don't know if that would be really appropriate because then people would be staying in Mickey's crotch.
Yeah, that would be a little bit too on the nose,
I mean,
or rather, a little bit too on the nuts.
to be
I mean, that's beyond nuts. Let's be honest.
Going through the nuts and out the nose.
Yeah.
to be
In
fair,
out the nose.
I think people would honestly see the humor in that a little bit. I think people would make jokes about it. What room you staying in? The crotch.
I got the crotch suite.
Yeah, it's very. They even made up the walls and the rug to be very hairy.
Hey, I mean, maybe we
Quite
should be thankful.
abrasive. Makes it itch a lot.
Maybe he should be thankful he didn't pick a Minnie Mouse hotel.
Oh damn! It would be sweltering in there, man.
It might be wet.
Wet, very hot. Yeah, like a fucking sauna.
Yeah. So, but that's the only reason that did not happen because Michael Eisner did. But the guy drew up plans for it and everything. What's the funny thing?
Wow. This was the picture, and you can see if I get it
Yep.
right here. That's me holding my little girl.
Yeah.
That's one terrified kid.
And then you know what she wanted to do?
Hello.
You know what she wanted to do? Can we go on it again? Well,
That's how it usually is at the first. They're scared shitless, and then they want to go back.
Right.
Yeah, I don't.
That's Gary, and that's my oldest. But this guy right here, not that guy, this guy right here, the bald one, Gary made a comment. He said he shouldn't have been on that ride either. And I said, why? He said he's completely drunk out of his mind.
Well, one of the things that what was it? I got a lot of information from Abigail Disney. She made a movie a few years ago, and she's been really criticizing Bob Iger. She was one of the things she was complaining about is one of the reasons probably why the employees aren't paid enough is because of Bob Iger's bonus he gets every year, which is like astronomical. Like, I mean, honestly, if it was me, I would say I don't want my bonus. divide up the bonus between the people who work at the parks.
And I
You know?
saw how the working conditions were bad when we went.
Mhm.
And they were trying to sneak like little benefits and bonuses to us. I was like, you don't have to do that. And they're like, no, we want to do it. Trust me.
Thanks for stopping by, Riot. Have a good night.
Hi, right. Okay.
No, I mean, Abigail Disney, went undercover, and she's
Right.
the niece of Walt, and so she remembers going to Walt Disney World when it, and all this stuff. I mean, a lot of the parks, the employees, Orange Hat just said it in his videos, they're so poor that they eat out of trash cans.
Yep, I remember talking about that. That was a couple of years ago.
I think you said it recently too, when one of the Disney videos too.
Have
So,
you
I
watched?
don't recall that, but if I did, well, there you go.
Have you watched any of the darker content on Disney where it's not just creepypastas, but beyond that, they talk about the really, really strict rules about there can't be murder on the plot. They have
Well, they
to
will,
quickly
because they plan
flush
on
it
suing
out
the
and stuff.
fuck out of the person responsible, right?
I've heard about, I know all the really weird rules at Disney because, again, to some extent, like I said, still kind of pursuing a little bit, but there was a while I was on board with being chairman of Disney and getting myself voted in. So, and I'm not even a board member, but it's like if we're gonna, my whole thinking was too, is we all complain about this, woke stuff and all this stuff, but we don't, we're just small YouTubers. It was more like,
Yeah.
well then we have a way to actually get to that position on top where we can actually end it, because if we want to end it, you have to take the leadership action and take charge. And like I said, to some extent, still pursuing it, but not sort of kind of as active as I used to be, but not really. But
yeah, it's just really hard business doing business. That's the thing.
well, I
want to address this. Off topic. Nothing's off topic today, folks. What is your thoughts on the rumors that George Lucas is trying to get or buy out Star Wars back from Disney? I don't really delve into the rumor mill, but I will say this: if it is true, awesome. If not, I don't. All right, I don't think it is true, but if it is, that's cool. But I doubt it is true.
It depends on the level of the contract. If George can't even buy the rights, if it was a, full-on buyout, or like they have the rights for a certain amount of time. It kind of depends on the contract, and we don't really have that information. So,
I would love for
exactly,
George
Cassie. Exactly.
Yeah. I would love for
Honestly,
George to pursue getting it back, but
honestly,
I'll take care of him, Super Sci-Fi. Don't worry.
I mean, honestly, like if George can't do it, see if, ask one of his kids if they want to take over. If not,
Jessica
then
Lucas is a flaming SJW. I would not trust her with Star Wars.
Or he has other kids too. I mean,
Jet Lucas, I don't even know what the fuck he's doing. So I will,
or give it to one of the guys who know Star Wars, like on YouTube.
Like who?
I mean, I don't know how Star Wars.
I'd give it to Allura, OG Star Wars, before I give it to anybody else. I wouldn't give it to Jeremy of Geeks and Gamers. I wouldn't give it to Ryan Kennel. I wouldn't give it to Raging Rhino. I wouldn't give it to Open Airlock Policy. The one person out of all of our YouTube community that I would trust with Star Wars would be OG Star Wars. She has such respect for the lore, of the original and real lore. She would be the perfect person to actually continue Star Wars if they gave her creative control. that would be somebody I would trust. Or somebody like me, or fuck it. Put me, Alora, Steve Kenobi in charge of that shit. We would actually get that shit done.
Here's my thing. I would have ideas on who to do it, but I would have to actually interview the people and make my own creative decision before. I mean,
Right.
I would definitely consider everybody there, but on top of my list, mainly just because of his numbers, I would at least give Star Wars Theory an interview with it too.
Star Wars, or as much as I respect Star Wars Theory and what he does, he rides the fence. He rides the fence, and you can only ride the fence for so long before you start sawing yourself in half.
Well, he would at least be number one on the interview list just because of his, of his following. But I would have to interview a lot of people to be head of Star Wars, because it's Star Wars.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would also bring in Star Wars Theory for input. He is the biggest Star Wars channel out there. Yes, that is true.
Yes.
However, OG Star Wars is a person who knows the shit. Also, I would bring in the original story group from the 90s and 2000s.
Oh, yeah.
Well, one of the things that there was an interview that was just amazing to me. Marsha Lucas agreed to edit the new trilogy, but they turned her down.
You could edit that thing 6 ways from Sunday, and you'd still end up with a shit product. The story is corrupted.
Nothing.
It's tainted.
Bad.
It's disgusting.
Exactly. So one of the things, though, I would do too, though, is at least bring Star Wars. At least have basically probably just get a lot of the people who are involved on YouTube with it, at least that's what I would do.
Have the fans involved, yeah.
I'd also probably even go for people like Jeff Hicks from World Class Bullshitters and some of his crew. However, or because he also has slightly influential numbers there too.
Well, one of the things I would do, though, if I did hire Star Wars Theory, he can come on, but Pablo Hidalgo has to give him an apology.
Oh, I'd make sure that shit is in engraved writing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they have to shake hands, and if he decides no, I'm not going to apologize, it's like, okay, well, go pack your stuff, because if you don't get out of here within 30 minutes, you're trespassing.
Yeah. And the thing is, he did come out, Star Wars Theory did finally come out and say he did not like the direction they were going. He liked some things, but, he was still kind of riding the fence saying he liked Disney and stuff. So, I mean, I don't know.
It is one of the things I would at least want to interview him first, just because he would have because of his numbers.
And that's
all I will say is this. If you guys, or if anybody in the chat, if you like Disney Star Wars, that's fine. I'm not going to tell you what you can or can't like. But what I am going to say is, if you do like Disney Star Wars and you consider it real Star Wars, and if you're saying, well, I'm just happy that they're putting out more content, I'll consider you a generalized normie. You'd be a normie. You're not, and I'm sorry, but the fact of the matter is there is a caste system to fandoms. You got your hardcores, you got your absolutists, you got your purists, you got your normies and your filthy casuals, and you got all the other ones too. If you are saying that, well, I'm just happy to have more content out and I'm liking it because it's Star Wars, you're a normie. And I'm sorry, but me, I'm a purist. I like George Lucas era and George Lucas approved story that includes all of the EU before the Filoni taint. Yes, a lot of people are going to say, well, George Lucas worked on the Clone Wars with Dave Filoni. People do make mistakes. And when that started to divert from the original lore, that is when I said I no longer support it. When I saw what Filoni did with the Mandalorians, stealing the success of Karen Traviss and then changing that stuff, and then taking credit for the stuff that Karen Traviss created, I absolutely lost respect for Dave Filoni. The Darth Maul resurrection thing, yes, it was done in Legends, but guess what? It wasn't done well. So that, and the way that Disney hypes up a fight, a rematch between Obi-Wan and Darth Maul, they hyped that up for over a year. And it was over in 2.5 seconds. So, I'm sorry, but you don't do that. That is poor storytelling.
See, the thing is, I think that also the biggest problem too is, I'm pretty sure a lot of the board members don't even go in and watch the stuff anymore at Disney.
They don't.
And so what I would do
There's
is
no
I would go
quality
ahead,
control.
I would go in and watch them. And guess what? I would probably, if it sucks, I will probably be telling them, well, Batgirl this, because that's the thing that Disney needs. It needs that the David Zaslav guy to just sit there. He's not going to do it, but that type of leadership just to say no, we're not doing this.
Right. Yeah, put your foot down sometimes.
I mean, he should deal with the Ezra Miller stuff, but that's another topic for another day. But
bad hyping is bad. Hyping or good hyping is how George Lucas did it with the special editions and the prequels.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that there's a lot of special edition haters out there, but I like the special edition because I liked how it expanded upon what he had already created. It just opened up a new world, made it bigger.
I mean,
three purposes behind the special edition. Let me cover this, please, Junebug. Three purposes behind the special edition. One, George Lucas wanted his original fulfilled vision to come out.
Right.
That was the purpose of one of the three purposes. Two, it was a testing area for the prequels. Three, he wanted to fix the things that he was too limited with by the technology of the 70s and 80s.
And I'm not a big fan of having Hayden Christensen coming in. There were some other little nitpicky things, but there were some really good things he did to it too that made it look really cool too.
The only thing I don't like about the special edition is, the rumor is, we don't know if it's true, about how George Lucas, why we can't get the original trilogy on DVD or anything, is that the original
I have the original despecialized trilogy on Blu-ray thanks to Odin from OMB Reviews. Cool. Also, Stig, I just mentioned you and you show up, so that's pretty cool. But yeah,
you can get the bootlegs, but I'm talking about like original negatives. There's a rumor that he might have, during the 20th anniversary editions, the original negatives might have actually been destroyed.
Oh, if that's the case, then that sucks. If they were destroyed. Orange Hat Reviews and others, which Star Wars stories kind of worked as sequel trilogy, Thrawn trilogy, or New Jedi Order. I would have gone with New Jedi Order because it was 20 odd years later.
Yeah.
And the Thrawn trilogy was only 5 or 6 freaking years later. So it didn't really have the timing correct for the Thrawn trilogy. And thank you so much, Dread Saber Phil. But yeah, I would do the new Jedi Order because it's 25 years later. You have, or telling it in a trilogy would be very hard to do, but something tells me that they would have competent writers in order to do it. And it would be the perfect launch pad for the next generation. You have, or not to mention, this was the first story in which the stakes were real. They weren't fucking around. They killed one of the original characters. And believe me, when Chewbacca went out in Vector Prime, I freaking cried. I cried when Anakin Solo died. But yeah, New Jedi Order as an animated show, 2 to 3 books per season.
Spoiler alert!
That would work. I could actually see that working. Also, Stig, to the reason why I said that spoke of you and then you're coming apart. We were discussing earlier who would we give creative control, or if we could get creative control, who would we give it to? I basically said if there were 3 people that I would trust with Star Wars and continuing it from George Lucas, it would be me, you, and OG Star Wars.
Well, I mean,
we would make sure that shit kept on track.
Well, who knows? Maybe if I get the position, I'll just sit there, see what you guys could do to fix it.
We would have press conferences. I would be the one in charge of press. I would have, or OG would be the one in charge, or OG and Stig would be in charge of getting the content out. But me, I'd be the one in charge of press, and I'd be telling people flat out, the stuff that Disney created is no longer going to be continued. It is not considered, or it's going to be considered disgraced legends. It's going to be considered tyrant history, so to speak. Not even considered relevant to what is going to be going back to. Heads would roll if I was put in charge, all of them. I'd show zero mercy. Oh, damn straight. I know you would. I mean, the entire, or believe me, Stig, if we all, or if me, you, and Alora were in charge, put it this way, folks. Current story group, out. Current head, or Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, out. Deborah Chow, out. All of it, gone. We would bring, I would hire the original story, or I would make sure the original story group got hired back. I would make sure that they got brought back because they had the best stories. And I would also make sure that they continue to, or they would get their royalties. I would say, guess what? Or if we were still with Disney, you're going to give them their royalties, or else we're going to freaking walk it, man. But we would wrench creative control from Disney. It's like, you want the fans back? This is how we do it. We go back to the legends. We go back to what the fans wanted. This crap of listening to 10,000 people when compared to over 100 million is for shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, what you could do, what I would do, I would just suggest this. From here on out, canon.
Good point.
Legends is now canon. What we did from 2015 to blank year, whatever, is now Legends.
Anything from 2008 to now is discontinued. We are returning to the canon, or to the original canon storyline. Sword of the Jedi could be, or will be greenlit for writing or for being written. And if people are going to come at us saying, well, hey, Simple Jack Live, thank you. And if our TCW, the whole show is plot hole. Exactly. Genndy Tartakovsky's Clone Wars would be considered canon, in my opinion. Yes, I would have stories continued from that storyline. I would have stories written from those times.
Yes.
As for Sword of the Jedi, I would have that written as well. I'm not a big fan of the whole Abeloth series, the whole Fate of the Jedi, because that also has Filoni Tate in it because of the Ones of Mortis. I mean, as much as I love the Darth Plagueis novel, I actually say that about 10 or 20% of that book is shit because of the Filoni Tate in it.
I
Because
found
of
it to
Mother
be
Talzin
sluggish.
and
a little
huh?
bit. I found it to be sluggish a
I
little bit
like-
in places, but I do like it.
Plagueis is actually one of my favorite Sith Lords because
Oh
he
yeah,
actually got the fucking, or he actually, if Palpatine was an idiot to kill him,
yeah.
if Palpatine saw actual immortality, and if he had not killed Sid, or if he had not killed Plagueis, he would have achieved it. Plagueis was increasing his midichlorian count. He was making his body or reverting his body back to its prime state.
Exactly.
He was that powerful, and he was getting close to actual immortality. If
Right.
Sidious hadn't killed him, well, he would have probably he would have reached it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
no other Sith had that. Or even my favorite Sith Lord, Vitiate, or Valkorian, Tenebrae, whichever name you call him by, he only achieved immortality through that ritual. Oh shit! Hold on, folks. I got my girlfriend calling.
But yeah, no, that's the thing is there just needs to be, honestly, it just needs better leadership and focus on a lot of things. I mean, and one of the things that would be controversial that I would probably do is Marvel, we're going to take a 5-year break.
Yeah, at least and again, you'd have to take off a bunch of big chunk. Actually, all the writers, all the people involved with Marvel nowadays. It just,
Well, it's more like 5-year break,
Go
but
away.
you know, it's so you guys can but you guys are still working, but it's to regroup and refocus because you already reached the top of the mountain with Everest. You already reached to the top of Everest with Endgame.
right.
So the only way to go is down. So now you have to find the way to get back up Everest.
When Disney first bought Star Wars, again, this is going back to when I had my blinders on, fogged mind, and I'm like, Disney's turned a lot of good franchises. Disney's done a lot of good. They've made a lot of money, and so Star Wars is going to be good. And then I hear, oh, none of the EU is going to be canon. I was like, well, they're still going to do a good job. And I was in a comic book store, one of my friend's comic book stores, and I was just looking around, and I brought up, what do you think about this whole Disney buying Star Wars? And they talked about it a little bit. I said, the only thing that I'm cautious about is that they're decanonizing all of the books in the EU, and that they are calling it Legends. And this old guy in there, he was like, well, I could care less about any of the books. The only thing that makes sense to me is the first trilogy. And I said, what you don't understand, sir, is that a lot of very well-known, very popular publishers have put out those books. It's not just some piddly little mag rag going out there or anything. And I went out to get in the car, and one of my other friends was there, and I explained the situation, what was going on in the comic book store. And this is the first time I ever heard the word before, but I'm sitting there and I explained it all to him, and he goes, purist. And I'm like, okay. Well,
wanna
if I'm a
address it.
purist, then I'm a purist.
I want to address a couple of things. He would have been killable. However, his body, or because he wouldn't have been invincible, he would have simply been immortal. His body would have, or depending on how skilled he is, he probably would have been killable. However, he was challenging Sidious when Sidious started frying him with this, with the things, or with the Force Lightning. Also, yeah, I heard you reference him earlier. Sorry, I didn't get to that. I have seen Mandalore's channel. I do subscribe to it. I know that Alora also had his channel up there, or she actually did a interview with him before, or for talking EU and whatnot. So I also recommend it. And don't worry, it doesn't cover TCW because, oh, believe me, or anybody who is a Mandalorian fan, and I'm not talking about Disney's Mandalorians, I'm talking about real Mandalorians. Anybody who's a Mandalorian fan would automatically discount and have utter disdain for Dave Filoni's shit. I still never get tired of Knights of the Fallen Empire. When Darth Maul tells Valkorion, "I'll never bow to you." The writing for that expansion was great. Yeah, it was, honestly. That's one of the things I like about that, because Darth Maul's last stand was actually one of the coolest parts in it, because Valkorion, he's like, all right, enough. Boom, and he just fucking fries him. But also, Darth Maul is one of the only Sith. In fact, he is the only Sith to become one with the Force. He is the only Sith to actually learn to become one with the Force. He never abandoned his principles, but he did release, or as Qui-Gon told Yoda, the Sith rely on exaltation of the self, where Jedi release the self. Maul did that. Darth Maul was a Sith. He never gave up on his ideals. However, he did not have that one thing that the Sith, or that most Sith do, which was exaltation of the self, which allowed him to become one with the Force.
Yep.
So glad I managed to click the mute button at that moment. You guys would have had a very loud noise, and that's the reason why I muted it. The guy who does the animated Thrawn trilogy series is brilliant. Holy crap, he is doing a good job. Stig, I'm going to have to ask you who that guy is, because I think I saw one video of it, but I can't find it anywhere now.
Be right back.
All right. And I will mute you, so your stuff. Yeah. Close, but no cigar. Remember, George Lucas is not perfect. Remember the whole story about General Grievous, where originally he was a Jedi killer, but Lucas changed him into a mustache-twirling villain in Episode 3. He still had that. He still had you, or I muted you, by the way, Jay. There you go. I unmuted you now.
Yeah, I know. I'm so loud.
Well, just to make sure, in case you were discussing anything.
No, I was
Morris
being
was so
sensual in
excited
the
about
back.
Grievous, he shot himself.
Being raunchy.
But yeah, the thing is, Genndy Tartakovsky had Grievous written as a serious threat and a Jedi killer. And Episode 3 had Grievous running away, yes, but the novel explains why. The reason, one, he's damaged right now because of the Force crush that Mace Windu put on him in Genndy Tartakovsky's Clone Wars. Two, he had never come across Obi-Wan before that. He is aware of Obi-Wan's reputation. I mean, even the first words, yes, the negotiator. General Kenobi, we've been waiting for you. That entire if you were reading that conversation, you understand this is the first time those two ever came across each other. As is the same with Anakin Skywalker and Grievous. But Filoni is such a fucking retard that he didn't realize that.
And it was so irritating because, you know, there was a lot of people who hated the prequels, and I loved them because I grew up with them as a teenager. And one of my friends who I knew at the time was all like just bashing Grievous and all this stuff and saying he was a wimp and all this. And I was like, you know, I know the lore. And I told him that. He says, yeah, well, I don't like to read. That shows your intellect.
Yeah. And another thing that also hints at the fact that this is the first time that he ever came across Grievous was a later conversation that Obi-Wan has with Anakin in the council chambers. I know how he fights now, or rather how he runs away. How he fights now, it's like, well, in the Clone Wars show, you've been fighting him left, right, and center all the time. You should know how to defeat him easily. So it's like, it doesn't make sense. I just wish in my lifetime that I could actually talk with him or with Dave Filoni and be like, you do realize that you screwed up Grievous's character in your show, yes? And he'd be like, well, how do you think that? And now I'm not saying that you're an idiot or anything. I mean, sure, I've said you're an idiot in the past before, but I do want to actually explain this. If you watch that movie, and if you studied at the altar of George Lucas, like you say, then you should have known that General Grievous and Obi-Wan never met until the Invisible Hand, and the only reason why General Grievous ran away was because this was something that had never happened before. A Jedi took an impossible situation and turned it on him. He took an impossible situation where everybody was, or where the entire situation screamed out that these Jedi had no chances of survival. Yet, Obi-Wan tapped into the Force to control the pistons in General Grievous's body to get him to release the lightsaber that was going to swing. And then he took absolute control over the entire bridge. A situation that was absolute death sentence for a Jedi was just turned on General Grievous. He had never experienced that before. So, of course, he's going to run because he's not prepared to handle what he just experienced. And then he tries running again because Obi-Wan was handling him quite handily on Utapau. And thank you to Epimay for the birthday wishes, where he's basically had to rev it up to like 60 or some odd strikes per second just to overwhelm Obi-Wan's defenses. And that's when Obi-Wan started going on the offense with a strict defensive style. He is the absolute master of the defensive style of lightsaber styles. I can't remember which one it is or which one it was called. Sorasu, I believe it is. And thank you to Jet Sparks, who, yes, he and I share the same birthday. Form 3, yes. And when he actually allowed Grievous to overwhelm his defenses, he used the defensive style to slice up Grievous's hands. So then Grievous got a bad feeling about it, and he fucking ran again because he couldn't handle this. That's why he ran it. And happy birthday to Jet Sparks, folks. So definitely wish him happy birthday too. Titan After Earth. I have not seen Titan After Earth. I do eventually plan on seeing it eventually. Plus Grievous was seriously wounded by wounded. Yes, he was. Also, one of the, or if you guys follow my Valkorian Twitter channel or Twitter profile. Okay, Junebug had to go for a bit. And he also wished Jet Sparks a happy birthday. But also in the novel, I highly suggest everybody reads the episode 3 novel. Because Grievous knew Obi-Wan was coming for him. Grievous knew Obi-Wan Kenobi was going to come for him. Because Sidious wanted that to happen. Expect the Jedi that comes for you to be Obi-Wan Kenobi. He literally tells him that in the book. That is one of the greatest things because he learned, or if you follow my Valkorian channel, all of last month, January, I did galactic events, of which I gave my thoughts on certain things. The death of Dooku, the fall of Anakin Skywalker, the Jedi trap on Utapau. If you guys go through every day almost up through January, I did Valkorian thoughts on different things.
Put on something you follow?
Also, I remember that in the original 2003 Clone Wars, that Dooku gives Grievous advice of it's best to retreat if you lack intimidation. Not accurate dialogue, but yeah, retreating only if you can't win. And in this case, he couldn't win. And he also, now the only reason why he ran on Coruscant, well, he got the Chancellor, and then he ran because he needed to get him out of there. So yes, thank you, Soul Assassin. Yeah, folks, follow this Twitter or this Twitter page because I give my thoughts every day on certain things. February is Jedi characters by request. If you have a request about a Jedi character, I will do my thoughts on them. Plus, I will do another Jedi character that day because I always do one specific for that day, but also another if by request. So, yeah. Getting back to it, where were we? Oh, yeah, that's right. Filoni is an idiot. And I would tell him, you didn't pay attention to that movie because if you did, this entire show wouldn't be made. And I'm sorry, but your show never gave any indication that Ahsoka Tano ever existed. She should have died before Order 66. The second she went up against Grievous for the very, very first time, she should have been killed. Yep. She should have been killed.
Where is it?
Let me mute him so his...
Oh, there it is.
There we go. Yeah. But yeah, my apologies for not thinking through. Hey, dude, nah, man, you have your own thoughts, and that's fine, and it's all cool. You just haven't thought it through as much as I have, and that's fine. I'm not going to fault you for that, But yeah, we've been going for an hour and a half, 90 minutes so far. Another 90 minutes to go. If anybody wants to jump in, here's the link to the chat or to the stream. And, you're still there. Unmuted you.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Yeah, I've been looking for a video for you to leave for you for your birthday. It's really funny. It had me going so hard I couldn't believe it.
But also, as for my birthday, I just recently found the show Shark on Hulu and rewatched that. God, that was such a good show with James Woods.
Oh, cool. I love James Woods.
Yeah, he played a defense lawyer that became a prosecutor.
Huh.
However, the show was canceled 2/3 of the way through the second season because of a writer's strike.
That's how it usually goes, sadly.
Yeah. And then Danielle Panabaker, who was also in it, she ended up getting hired for CW for The Flash. And yes, Danielle Panabaker is one hot chick. Even though, I mean, she was 19 during the filming of that show. And at that time, I was 17, or I was 22, 23. So yeah, she's like, or she was, or I think she was born in 88. Check out Human Target. If I get the chance, I will. The show that I'm watching now is Elementary, because I absolutely love Sherlock Holmes, and I kind of modeled myself after him a little bit. I'm that observant. I can observe about people, situations, and whatnot, and basically deduce a lot of things down to accuracy that is frightening to some. I kind of did that with a friend and his girlfriend one time, and kind of almost scared the shit out of her because of how accurate it was, because I had not met her before that day. And it's like, well, you must have had an active childhood. She's like, why do you mean? Your knees are all scarred and you came from Haiti. Or chances are you played outside a lot more often and whatnot. And she's like, I could have scraped my knees on anything. Sure, you could have, but that is the most probable deduction that I came up with, Orange Hat Reviews also, if you notice that Maul, Dooku, Grievous represent the 3 stages of Anakin Skywalker. Yep. Dooku.
Everything is poetry.
Say what?
Everything is poetry. Everything is connected through stars. And that was always the point that George tried to make. It's not only was it about the battles, it's not really about the battles. It's about family, and it's about the poetry, the symmetry.
No, I have not, Geek, but I plan to eventually.
Have you seen Young Sherlock Holmes?
No, but what are you watching on your side that I'm hearing?
Oh.
Because that could get, or out. Well, I don't think it should be too much of a problem because
that's not it. No, he's telling a joke, and somebody had cut clips from him saying it.
Right, I can't find it.
They're okay. What's the original name of the name of the store that he's talking about? No. The one that's there now.
Oh, fudge.
Is Slicks?
Slicks something. Slicks. SSS is what it is. something.
Oh, I can't remember. All right, so
Solutions.
We were trying to find this video that I saw last night. You know who HK-47 is, right?
Yeah, he's my favorite assassin droid.
Right. So somebody had edited it for him to tell this really raunchy joke, and it's hilarious, where he's talking about this place on Coruscant, and it's like, he goes, meatbag, or he was like, Master, would you like to hear a joke? And then you come back with, yeah, sure, tell me the joke. And he's like, well, did you know that there is a place on Coruscant? And it's like 3 S's. I can't remember exactly what it is. That alone is funny. But then you start to realize that there was a store that used to be there called Chuck's. now that when you put 2 and 2 together, you finally realize that it is Chucks, Fucks, and Sucks.
Yeah.
Or something
Oh my
like
God.
I can't find it.
We can't find it anywhere, but I came across it. I was like, what?
It's hilarious.
It was just so bad. It's so bad out of context, though. If I could remember the name of the plays, it would make more sense. And then it came up with a bunch of Simpsons jokes, which I think that might be where the joke came from originally. I'm not sure. But I don't know.
But yeah, thank you, Happy Dinosaur. Good to see you, by the way.
Hey.
So, yeah, I was just checking Twitter for a second, make sure that everybody are seeing if I got any more notifications. I don't think that Elon Musk is going to wish me happy birthday. But yeah, HK47, I loved his dialogue throughout the games, especially the second game. It's like when you give him the pacifist package, and he's like, "So, can we get back to the mission now, or is your electronic butchery done?"
Oh,
I mean, I just love. It's like, oh my God, that is just also his idea of love, picking off a person from like 5,000 or 2,000 meters with a trilite scope. It's fucking hilarious. I have a meme on my phone. Let me see if I can pull it up. Fucking hilarious. Nope, that's not it. Definitely can't show you guys that either.
no crud. Don't do that. We don't want to
No,
see that.
Where is it? Screenshots, Facebook.
Jeez, Orange Hat. When we said it was your birthday, we didn't mean that kind of birthday.
I had the best birthday dinner today. Oh, there it is. Ugh.
Oh, I can't. Okay, mocking query. You mad meatbag.
Mocking query. You mad me back?
I see it.
It's dude, he was just the perfect person. Or the
Straightforward
HK
sarcasm.
droids were the
Words.
perfect freaking model. Question: what inspired your channel to name and the name Origin? Or OMB Reviews, formerly Odin's Movie Blog, inspired me to get the channel started. The hat is, and this is the original hat, is not as much of an inspirational story as one might think. I needed a winter hat. I live up in a hunter community towns. So I went to the store, got a winter hat. And so when I wanted to get my channel started, it's like, okay, it's going to be a reviews channel. So whatever it is, it's going to be reviews. And I'm looking around my bedroom at the time. And I'm like, and I saw my orange hat still out during the spring. And I'm like, orange hat reviews? Yeah, orange hat reviews. There you go.
I mean, it clicks. It rolls off.
Yeah. OHR, man. Orange hat reviews. Yeah. And that's the story of I'm sorry it's not as epic and
Actually, it's pretty epic.
inspirational as people
Very.
or as other people would like, but that's just the story of it. It's a very simplistic.
Yeah.
I'm a very simple person, man. And it was a very simple way. I just needed a freaking hat for winter. That's how I got the orange hat. And then the orange hat just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
Odin's heart reigns.
Yep.
Supreme.
Odin's movie blog. A guy named Odin who is also a devout Catholic.
Oh.
Yep. OMB reviews. He's also good people. He's actually one of two people from the Geeks and Gamers crew that I still watch. I've honestly let go of a lot of the Geeks and Gamers crew because reasons, but I'm not gonna get into it. Hey, Cannoli Sasquatch, how you doing? Thank you.
Yay.
And keeping you alive in the snow is epic. Yeah. Oh my God. I am possibly going. I'm going to ask my mom sometime to help me do a short for a video, or somebody, or probably even my brother, because he would know how to handle it better, where I'm going to do this impersonation of Hunter Biden. And I'm going to show it's snowing outside, and it's like, did somebody check on Hunter? And just show somebody just dive face first in the snow because he thought it was freaking coke or crack or whatever,
That would
or
be
heroin or
hilarious.
something. You know, I mean, that's just awesome.
I'd laugh so hard at that.
That-
That would be so great.
Because I know that, or I've also found out that my nephew who called to wish me happy birthday earlier with my brother, his kid, that he called and wished me happy birthday. He gets a kick out of my videos every now and then. The short ones, especially the one where I was looking out the window, I'm like, nope. And then go sideways and then come back up and I'm all dressed in my winter gear. All right, ready for it.
There's a video on my older channel somewhere where I'm standing with the door open and I'm shirtless, but I got one of my fedora hats on, and you can't see anything below. You just see from like here
Above the
and
boobs.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm standing with it open and there's snow everywhere. It feels really nice. And I'm like, it feels nice. Just like walking into a freezer naked or something like that.
Nice. But yeah, I mean, I
grew up in North Dakota, so
yeah, because I was also gonna do a few weeks back. We've had some problems with my mom's truck, so we can't get out a lot. But I was gonna go over to my brother's to do a video. We were gonna open up his garage, and I was gonna do a video about classified documents.
oh,
And or basically imagine being a realtor or what's real estate or real estate with Orange Hat Reviews. And it's like, yeah, I mean, look at this beautiful garage you could fit your truck, your boat, classified documents, all sorts of shit in here. And it would just be that simple. I mean, if you take a look
delivery.
yeah. And also, if you guys want to get a nice little laugh, I did a nice little short or a reel on my Instagram page where I did dinner. And it's the line from Thor Ragnarok with Carl Urban. Behold my stuff. And it shows the meatloaf with the bacon on it and the fried potatoes to go with it. Behold my stuff. Ooh. And you hear the women, ooh. It's just freaking hilarious shit.
There's
Tons of
another video, and it's a much older one where I'm acting like I'm putting stuff into my friend's trunk, and I go to close the trunk, and I close it. The camera's up, so you can't see my fingers, but I'm acting like they closed on my fingers. And I'm like, And the person, it switches view to the person driving. He's like, okay, we're all ready. All right. So he drives, and I put sound effects later on that go, and he's like, let go of my car, man. You're killing my mileage.
Wow.
And he turns up the radio. He goes, oh, that's some really good tunes. And
Yeah.
you still hear my body like in the back go like that.
Vanja, that's not really an appropriate question, but honestly, I have no problem disclosing my weight. I weigh around 300 pounds, but it's not all fat. I got some muscle to go with the fat. So
300 pounds of raging fury.
put it this way: back when I was younger and did martial arts, I was more acrobatic. Where now, if I do martial arts, I'm what's known as a tank. I could take the beating, but I can also dish out the beating. Told one of the Geeks and Gamers members on Discord that if I met with JYB, Johnny Young Bosch, that I would get something signed and see if I can have it sent over, mailer, because she likes Demon Slayer. Nice. I mean, I have no problem with the Geeks and Gamers crowd. It's just that some of them have said some things that have not aged well, shall we say. And a couple of their members are also, well, actually, a lot of them, no offense to them, but a lot of them are very egotistical, and that is one thing that I am very much against. I say stay humble for a reason. So about a few dozen bags of oranges.
Ha!
Yeah. Like Shaquille O'Neal? Well, yeah, just without the height.
That was another thing I like. Yeah,
How did I meet Society Reviews and others like Cassie CS, Rob Nerdkins? I got invited onto their channel one time, or onto Rob or Jacob's channel, and we just hit it off from there. Cassie's an awesome person. CS Jaws, she's great. Nerdkins is great with the anime stuff, man. She knows her shit. Rob, I like his cynicism. Rob Motto Movies, dude, he's awesome. Rick Aragorn is freaking hilarious. And it's just a great freaking motley crew of family, you know? They are literally like the Toretto family without the family. I mean, we're all family, even though we're not related. That kind of dynamic. And that's a group that I would trust with a lot of shit.
I wish we could go back to that kind of dynamic with like the big portions that started. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I love riffing with Colt or with Cassie, who's still on the chat. I mean, I keep on saying that she's like Phoenix's sister from Top Gun Maverick, or that she is Phoenix from Top Gun Maverick.
But
I also said that she was Nance from Live Die Repeat, because it's like, imagine going back in time, or imagine if Live Die Repeat was done today, Cassie would most likely be the person to play Nance. But if you go back to that movie and you check out the character of Nance and you look at Cassie, she gives off that vibe that is that is freaking Cassie.
Movie.
I mean,
I haven't seen.
Bitch, I don't know you. It's like, have I ever met you guys before? Bitch, I don't know you. Exactly. I mean, she's fucking. Cassie's awesome. It's about family. Orange hat and white tank shirt. Dude, nah, I don't do white tank tops. I do colored tank tops. Especially my red one.
And mine's gray.
Blood makes you relative. Loyalty makes you family. Fuck, I've denounced fucking blood family, for crying out loud, with some of them.
Sometimes you have to.
You can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family. Actually, you motherfucker, you can.
Right. I can tell you so many horror stories about my wife's family and just how we had to separate from them because they just were such a what they would call nowadays a toxic relationship.
Yeah. Do I still watch Smuggler's Cantina shit? No, I do not. Yes, I do. Me and Edge of Tomorrow, Geek Pierce. I do not watch Stephanie from Janacek's shit because one, she has called my ass out. Two, she's doxed fucking Steve Kenobi, which is not cool.
Jeez, man.
Three, she is a freaking what she was once against Disney, but now she's all fucking for Disney and shit, which is stupid if you ask me.
Wow.
Hello, Jet Sparks. How you doing?
Hey,
Hello, Orange Chat. Hello, Jay. How are you both?
good.
I can be all the true badass ladies, not the whiny fake tough girl. Exactly. I mean, shit. They could have made Cassie freaking Alita for crying out loud. That would have been cool.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Cult Classic Cage. She's or she just said I could be all the true badass ladies, not the whiny fake tough girls. And like I said, she could be all of them. She's right. She could be all of them. And I'd freaking put her, or I'd freaking cast her as Alita.
Yeah, I know one thing though. Still, yeah, people like Sarah Connor or Princess Leia or even Ellen Ripley. Those are the basis for making a strong, badass female character. That's like the template
Right.
you sort of go with.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Neozoic, dude. Heck yes. Again, big Power Ranger fan. I also love Super Sentai. I'm not sure about like again.
I
I've
haven't
never
watched the
seen
original stuff, but I have watched the Americanized stuff.
Yeah, and I have watched like Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, and I have my dad actually showed me both Ultraman and Johnny Sacco as well.
Put it this way, when Jason David Frank died, I was in, folks, go back to the date when he died. I was in so much freaking denial. It's like, until I hear a fucking official statement that he has died from a major news source, I'm not believing it. I didn't want to freaking acknowledge the fact that Jason David Frank died because Jason David Frank and the other Power Rangers were very influential in my young life growing up, to the point where I was freaking made fun of for liking the Power Rangers when I was a kid because I didn't outgrow them. I'd still watch that shit today if I could.
Right. Are you excited for Legend of the White Dragon?
I
I
actually
have no idea what that is.
It's the last project he actually is going to do. It's the last project he did before he passed.
Then
we
I
don't-
might check it out.
But we don't know if he's involved. If he was involved in the 30th anniversary.
That
for
is like
MMPR.
in current production, so I don't think he was.
It's done by Bat and the Sun.
Plus, they
Yeah.
also used the second generation, yellow, pink, black. No, wait, they did bring the original Black Ranger back for that one.
Yeah, they brought Zach, Billy,
Yeah.
Cat, Rocky, and Aisha are back. But I
Yeah.
mean, we already know Tui Trang passed away in 2001. But I mean, it would have been the perfect reunion if it was the entire
If they
original
could, yeah.
cast.
Also, Amy Jo Johnson isn't coming back. She admitted, or she copped it out on Instagram. Although Amy Jo Johnson is freaking hot as hell, folks. Everybody knows that Amy Jo Johnson was everybody's freaking
Crush.
everybody's freaking crush back in the day.
Yeah.
Well, another thing is, well, again, like what Neozoic said, while either Time Force is my introduction, Time Force and Lightspeed were introduction. Yeah, that was around the exact same time I started really getting into Power Rangers. Was around that time when I got into like Power Rangers stuff, and still, I still see Time Force as like one of my favorite seasons. Heck, even Jen is like one of the best female Pink Rangers we've had.
I have not watched anything past Zeo or that movie with the little Blue Ranger kid.
Yeah, Turbo Power Rangers movie.
Yeah,
it
I
goes
saw
into
that.
the Turbo series. It goes into the Turbo series. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I watched some of the Turbo series, basically all the way up to frickin' Jason being the Black Ranger,
Yeah. Jason
or
became
not the Black Ranger, but the Gold Ranger.
Yeah, the Gold
or
Tricorn
whatever it was.
Ranger.
Shit, I used to have Saba the knife or the sword. I used to have the freaking Gold Ranger whatchamacallit, staff.
The Gold Ranger staff, yeah.
Yeah, I used to have all that shit when I was a kid. I wish I had kept it.
I
look that shit up on Amazon. It's $1,000.
Yeah. I mean, if I at least had the Legacy Power Morpher, that'd be cool. But I mean, I had the Time Force Chrono Morpher around the Time Force is there, and I also had the Dino Thunder Morpher, the original, like the Core 3 Rangers with their morphers. And of course, we already know.
Go ahead.
And of course, we already know Tommy comes back with his where he comes back as the Black Brachio Ranger, and he has his that he just turns one where he just turns the key and he morphs. That was an interesting design choice they did.
Nice. Also, I do like how the guys at Death Battle did a thing with Jason David Frank versus Ryu, or the Green Ranger versus Ryu.
No, that was Bat in the Sun, not Death Battle.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, that was super.
Whichever one's, yeah.
Yeah, Death Battle. You're thinking about Death Battle. You're thinking of Megazord versus like Voltron. But if you're seeing like Bat in the Sun, yeah, you're thinking of stuff like Batman versus Deadpool, Scorpion versus the White Ranger, stuff like that.
Freaking Death Battle did some good shit, and I actually one time got a shout out from Death Battle during their Death Battle cast when they were talking about the theory of Thor versus Vegeta, and it's like Vegeta would win that hands down. He doesn't require a weapon to give him any sort of edge. And
he's just saying.
Then they do the Death Battle, the actual Death Battle later on, like last year sometime, and Thor comes out. I'm like, go fuck yourselves. Right, Ranger and Jargon.
Oh.
Yeah, they did. No, I didn't have, or during the Versus episodes, I didn't have, or Versus streams, I didn't have those guys yet. But what I will, or I am thinking about bringing back the Versus streams. I just need people who are willing to come on to the panels to do them, because I did the definitive Goku versus Superman. It's a 4-hour fucking stream where we eventually just started talking or just getting into fun shit. But yeah, Goku would beat Superman, even in his all-star form, that golden shiny thing that he does. And it's like the Hakai immediately disintegrates you.
Yeah,
Goku
Goku
can use the Hakai.
That was really good.
But who do you think is better at dropping sick beats, him or Goku?
Who's
talking about
good.
Superman or Goku.
Who's good at dropping what now?
Who's good at dropping rap lyrics better, dropping some beats better than?
No idea.
That epic, you haven't seen the epic rap battle of Goku versus Superman?
I haven't.
It's like Chris Ray Johnson dressed up as Goku, and you got, like, of course, Epic Lloyd as Superman.
Although I would like to see who would win between a Balrog and Diablo.
Epic rap battles of history.
Holy shit! I think I just came up with the first Versus stream when I finally get them coming back. Tell your wife, God bless her, for sneezing.
Bless you. Orange Hat says.
Because I think she just sneezed.
Did you sneeze? Now she's got she sneezed so bad she gotta go to the bathroom. Anyway.
happens. Hey, it happens. That happened to me one time.
We
You have to debate Epic Mike. He caused some noise when he said Superman can beat Goku. I would debate Epic Mike. Bring him onto my, or if he wants to come onto my channel, I'd debate his ass on it.
Bring it on, man.
Thing is, Goku in the manga, he can use the Hakai. The Hakai completely disintegrates the body instantaneously, as it is shown even in the show. If Goku uses the Hakai and it hits Superman, Superman can't recover from that. And yeah, in his golden form, he's regenerating instantaneously. It literally destroys every molecule of you at once. Goku wins.
I know I'm not really a big Dragon Ball fan or really all that shonen anime stuff, but
how dare you?
How many power levels does Goku even have? I know now he has like a blue super form or whatever.
He has Ultra Instinct, which is his absolute highest. Ultra Instinct is the pinnacle of Saiyan, or is the pinnacle of his transformations. However, it does come at a cost. It will rack his body with unimaginable pain because his body can only take so much power. After the tournament, he literally had Jiren at his mercy until his body gave out, and the way that they showed it giving out was like blood just starts gouting out his back, even though that doesn't really happen. But they basically use that as a kind of visual allegory, so to speak.
Well, yeah, but like I said, though, I'm not really a stickler. I wasn't really a stickler for those kind of animes. I mean, I like Cowboy Bebop, and I really love like
Neozoic. I could not cover all of that shit.
like STF Macross. Those are like the animes, and of course, again, I've seen a couple of Studio Ghibli films too. So that's like yeah.
But one of my favorite animes is, or aside from the Dragon Ball manga, is also Yu Yu Hakusho.
All right.
That is, or believe me, if you want to see a great anime show, watch Yu Yu Hakusho. Jet Sparks.
I remember seeing like promos for it on Toonami back in the day.
Yeah. Orange Hat, have you watched some of the old Godzilla films? I am one of the biggest fucking Godzilla fans out there. So yes, I've discussed a little bit about it with David Fielding, provided the Zordon, the guy who provided a Zordon face. Cool. He prefers Ghidorah. I like Mothra. I'm a huge fan of the original Godzilla, the 1954 Godzilla, and always going to be a fan of Gojira, which is his original name. However, also Gojira was actually, or he was originally born on October 27th. However, everybody says his birthday is in November. October 27th was when he was not unleashed to the world, but put on screen for the first time for a select audience. Soul Assassin, thank you for the birthday wishes. Have a good night.
Oh yeah, especially to you. All happy birthday to you, Orange Hat. Thank you. Happy birthday to you.
And happy birthday to you too.
Thank you.
Shin Godzilla.
Shin Godzilla was the shit. That was the next to Gojira, the original. Shin Godzilla is the best one, because that was some of the best CGI I have ever seen. People thought it was a person in a suit. No, it wasn't. They had some puppeteering, they had some stop motion animation, but when it came to other shots, it was CGI. That tail was CGI, and I'm like, that looks like it's it looks like it's a freaking practical effect.
Yeah.
And when a Japanese limited production can do better CGI than MCU, peak MCU, that tells you something. MCU sucks. That's what it says.
Right.
Criterion Collection for Godzilla. Man, I remember the planet or how they did the whole Planet of the Apes kind of thing with Godzilla and Mechagodzilla. How the aliens looked like freaking Planet of the Apes rejects.
Yeah.
I remember Godzilla or Ghidorah being a good guy in one of the movies and Godzilla being a bad guy. I believe that was GTK or GMK.
Oh.
2 hours.
Oh.
And I should plug in my laptop before it dies. So there. Made by the man who made Neon Genesis or Evangelion. Yeah, he was actually planning on making a second one with the more evolved form of Godzilla, which would have been a committee of humanoid Godzillas. But then he would have, or they would have evolved again into one of those angelic Godzillas. And I'm like, don't go there. Don't fucking go there.
Have you talked with Mongo's Big Things?
Mongo? Yeah,
Yeah.
man. He's awesome.
I love that guy.
I miss Mongo, dude. I haven't seen him around in a while.
He's on occasion. If you tag him, he'll see it.
Oh yeah, Mongo or he actually used to be on some of my streams. I did Tiger versus Tigress versus DC versus Marvel. Tigra versus Cheetah or whatever her name was, the one that hates Wonder Woman.
Yeah, he's such a laid back dude. I mean, that's just how cool he is, I think.
Real
Like,
life work sucks.
He had to kind of step away from social media because just too much infighting, I think.
Yeah. Am I planning to watch Shin Ultraman, Shin Kamen Rider, the latter of which came out or would come out next month and direct to the same guy who made Shin Godzilla? No, I don't plan on watching because I don't know where the fuck they would be able to be watched from. I don't know where to watch them, so sorry. I did like Godzilla 0 Point. That was a pretty good show.
Yeah.
Also, that little kid that voiced the AI was that thing was so freaking adorable. I almost cried whenever it's like, I remembered something. What? I remembered something. What did you remember? I don't know. I'm like, oh my God. It's just the way that when there are certain movies that can happen or that are done, folks, that if the dialogue, music, and action is done in a specific way, it actually gets me to react emotionally. It's very hard to do.
Right.
Godzilla 0 Point did that.
I mean, that's what movies are supposed to do. I mean, they're supposed to make you feel those emotions, happiness, sadness, anger, all those things. That's how they entertain. And
Exactly.
sadly, they've kind of gotten away from that.
Yep. And Top Gun Maverick, a lot of people are saying Top Gun Maverick is overrated. Take it from a person who is basically ready to just say fuck everything and stop watching entertainment.
Exactly.
Top Gun
I mean,
Maverick. Fucking, I can watch that movie. I watch that movie every night.
yeah, I can watch it every day too. It's great. It's great.
It's rewatchable.
I saw it 5 times in the theater. I saw it 5 times.
I saw it on the pre-opening. I almost forgot my phone in the theater, folks. If that kind of shit happens, guess what? That means a movie is that fucking good.
Yeah.
Blasphemy. Honestly, she's not wrong. She's not wrong, Jamie. She's not wrong. Objectively, it is better than the original film.
My dad, he was a Navy man, and one of his favorite films of all time was Top Gun. He had passed away a while back when the second one had come out, Top Gun Maverick. I went to see it, and I had my dad's Navy hat on when I went in. He was there with me, I swear, and I was like crying off and on because there were little things that reminded me of Dad. And when I left, I was just bawling my eyes out. I said, "That was Dad's movie right there."
I've seen reaction videos from Top Gun instructors, real Top Gun instructors. Top Gun actually exists, folks. The school exists over in North Island in California.
Yes.
Top Gun, or when you got people who are actual Top Guns who watch this movie and say, this was done right, believe it.
Yeah.
It's like these people, most people are, or when they are experts in the field of what the movie takes place as, they look at the movie and they're like, yeah, that doesn't fucking happen.
Yeah. Right.
These guys are saying this was as accurate as could possibly be. Some things are off, yes, but we get that there needs to be some suspension of disbelief, like an F-14 taking off from a taxiway and not crashing into that water tower.
Exactly, yeah.
That would have happened because there was a person who talked about how it was a no flapper takeoff to a flap takeoff, and no flap was you needed a good 3,000 extra feet to take that or take off. Top Gun and Maverick are different movies, but both are good and enjoyable. One of the cool things about Top Gun Maverick and the character of Maverick, he's an ace pilot now because he finally chalked up 5 kills. He did so in an F-14.
Yep.
Which is it's a fucking museum piece, basically.
Yeah, it's ironic. Yeah, it really showed that Tomcat really still has some teeth in the game against a Su-57.
Yeah, the Su-57 folks, when they say that those things are technologically better, they're not kidding. Oh, by the way, I looked up who the enemy was in Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick. MiGs and those 5th generations, the Su-57s, Shokas, they're Russian. Russia was the enemy.
No, I think based on what we saw evidence from Matt Pat's film theory video, they can't be very far. They have to be somewhere where they're in like a warm water port. And I know there is snow in the area, but they more or less say, I think he sort of deduced the idea that possibly that enrichment site, that nuclear enrichment site is actually it's an Iranian
Russian asset.
I mean, yeah, they are Russian built fires, and again, they actually probably are. They even wanted to sell those Sukhois to the Indian.
Not only that, too. They had a fucking Hind. So, yeah. Also, doesn't Rooster now have a confirmed air-to-air kill? Now that when he took out that Hind, or does it only count if you take out another jet or a fighter jet?
I think it only counts if it's another fighter. It's not an air-to-air kill.
Well, that sucks because I think it should count for air-to-air kill because that would actually give Rooster 1, Hangman 2, yeah, and Mav 5 making him the ace. Does Iraq have snow?
No, I said Iran. No, I said Iran because it's because Iran is a very mountainous country. Yes.
But also, hold on, folks. I need to stack the fire. What time is it? It's 11:13. Yeah, I need to stack the fireplace. It won't take me too long. I mean, just give me 1 second. Keep talking amongst yourselves.
Yeah. So again, MatPat's video, obviously, again, they said because again, it is a mountainous region, and the whole course terrain they have to go through is through a canyon, and of course, it's settled inside of a mountain. And of course, there are obviously SAM batteries across the entirety of the perimeter. And again, usually I know if lesser countries would most likely want to use surface to air missile as for like surface to ground defense or air surface to air defense, which would be a lot more cheaper to use rather than actually investing money in an air force.
Right.
And again, they actually, like I said, they said the nuclear enrichment site has a runway, and it did host to a limited number of Sukhois, a couple F-14s, and of course other those Russian choppers too, those old Soviet era choppers. Oh yeah, now I think I know what Orange Hat meant when he said air-to-air kill because he shot down that chopper. But I still think it really it more or less means if you get an actual jet or something, that's how it counts as an air-to-air kill.
Right. That makes sense.
More or less how it works.
But yeah, it was a very respectful film. That was the thing about it. It didn't talk down to anybody. It was just what it needed to be.
All right, I'm back. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely.
Didn't stack it yet. Stacking is for overnight burning. I just put 2 in there to kind of rekindle the heat in there. Plus, it's 78 degrees in the room right now, and 16 degrees outside. So
it's probably it's like 2 degrees where I am. It's gotta be
nice. But yeah, going back to Top Gun Maverick, that movie is fully. When I say fully rewatchable, folks, I mean you can watch it all the way through and not be bored. And sure, they have the best scenes like the test run, or the test run and the actual freaking mission run, plus the dogfighting and whatnot. But the entire story keeps you engaged.
Yep, it does.
So it's like, holy shit. Not to mention there is one error, I do believe. Because Penny Benjamin says to Maverick, you took me up in that F-18 and or joyrided in the F-18. And it's like, was that recent? Because the F-18 didn't come out until the 90s or wasn't manufactured until the 90s. And we all know that he got in trouble for taking her up back in the 80s.
Wow.
So it's like, did he take her up again? What the
I've done it again.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
like, did you fucking go joyriding in an F-18?
Yeah, she often keeps saying, "Yeah, I can't ever stay mad at you for very long." Again, so it really shows he knows how to get her in the feels, which is how you're supposed to try to. If you make her feel good, yeah, she'll be swooning over you. But again, if you're just trying to be just like the nice guy or something, you got to make a girl. You just got to make a girl feel good. She will feel nothing if you just do just simple kindness to her. She will have no attraction.
That is true, Jack of all casuals. You could actually skip Top Gun, and Maverick is still rewatchable. Also, yes, the scene with Iceman is freaking, or the scene with Iceman gets me in the freaking feels every time. Also, when he dies, it's like, I just hope that doesn't happen to Val Kilmer anytime soon.
Well, I really do like that they actually worked his actual real life disease into the story.
Yeah.
Yes.
He had, or does he have actual throat cancer though?
I think he does. I'm not sure. Or he has like trouble speaking.
I know he has trouble speaking, and there's a throat problem. But
yes.
Yeah. So.
And
but yeah.
When you go back to like respecting the franchises and lore and things like that, you you can always kind of look at things like Cobra Kai too, where like Mr. Miyagi was brought up, and you had the memories situations throughout the show and
Mhm.
stuff like that. The only thing I don't like about the show is they really, at one point, started to make the main character really stupid, and then they started bringing all this woke stuff in, and I was like,
Are you talking about Cobra Kai?
Yeah.
They mock the woke stuff. They only bring it in to mock it.
Okay, so it's only for humor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's only
Go
for
ahead.
humor.
Okay.
I mean, the sensory. We don't call it a sensory deprivation chamber. It's a fucking sensory deprivation chamber. Shut the fuck up. Oh well, we don't call, or I mean that meeting where they're like, why are we having a town hall about changing the name of a manhole cover to whatever it was for? They were literally mocking political correctness in the film. They put it in there just to freaking mock it and say, okay, you guys got your little political correctness. Now shut the fuck up and let us do our show.
I think my issue in life has been where it's been out so much that that's all I see now, and that's not good.
And that, believe me, I fell into that trap before, where I started seeing wokeness everywhere until I had to take a step back, reevaluate shit, and it's like, okay, now I'm having a better idea on what is agenda based and what is not. And when people were going after Prey, which is one of the reasons why I stopped watching or paying attention to Geeks and Gamers. Prey, a lot of people called Prey woke. It's not woke. It was marketed as woke. It's not woke. Neozoic, thoughts on Cobra Kai season 6 being the final season? All good things must come to an end. I'm glad that they're finishing out with season 6, because just because something is successful does not mean that you need to keep milking it. You got to know when. You got to know when to stop. You got to know when to say, okay, we've done all we can with it. Doing anything further would just be tedious and unnecessary.
Yeah, it's kind of like Grimm. Have you ever seen the show Grimm?
I've heard of it.
Oh, it's a really good show. The only bad part was the very last episode, in my opinion. A lot of fans liked it. A lot of fans thought it was a good conclusion, but I just didn't think it felt good. Definitely not a woke show. But the one thing about it was the people who worked on the show were glad they were getting canceled. And the reason why was because they were running out of ideas. So they were hoping on bated breath that they were going to cancel it.
Yeah. Checking stuff now.
But yeah, I mean, I'm going to get going. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your birthday. And thanks for having me.
All 37 minutes of it. But thank you so much for joining, Jay. You've been one of the top supporters of my channel, and I'm very thankful.
You're welcome. And I think you're worth it. You really are worth it. I really appreciate your content and the stuff you're putting out, and you're genuine and you're honest, and like you always say, stay humble. And that's exactly what you are. And I never forgot the Solid Snake episode you did where we stayed after, and I bring it up like so many times on Twitter, but I remember that conversation we had, and that one-on-one really meant something to me. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome, Bob.
See you later.
Take it easy.
See you, Jay.
So if anybody actually does want to come on, here's the link to the chat or a link to coming in. Cassie, get your butt in here if you want. But yeah, let's see here. Haven't checked Twitter yet in a while. But yeah, there's a lot of people that I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for all 1,210 or 9 of my subscribers.
Yeah, and that's amazing that you reached that. I mean, same thing with Tim Possible. He's reached like 1,000. He's already reached 1,000 subs as well. Legendary Tron as well.
And I'm helping the smaller channels. It's like when I said that, or I've said when I reach 1,000, I'm prioritizing the smaller channels. I want them to get their voices out there. I want them to get their following and whatnot. And I've stuck to that. Yes, I go on to some bigger channels here and there, like Mara Jades and whatnot, but that's because I'm friends with her and such. And Junebug is back, and Skyhound. Hello. And Junebug.
Hello.
And Junebug. You back. Am I
Hello.
hiring myself? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Junebug.
Now, at least you guys
mute
know
my stream.
another alias
Junebug.
that I
Mute
use.
my stream.
Another alias that I use.
Huh?
Mute me. Mute me. Or the stream, buddy. Or the stream, buddy. There we go. I can't because it just burnt out today, but here to support you nonetheless. Thank you, Cassie. All right, fine. I shall abide you in the chat. So, Skyhound, how you doing?
Doing good, you?
Good. So, what were we talking about before or
You
after?
guys were going on about Top Gun Maverick, like some of the details, as I recall.
Yeah.
As I recall.
Right.
Oh yeah, and you were talking. about Cobra Kai.
You were talking about Cobra Kai as well.
Put headphones in or mute the stream, please.
The stream, please.
Junebug. That's you, bub.
Oh well.
Oh, God.
Wow. Yeah, when you hear your voice played back like that, it's just like, is that my voice? Is that my voice?
My fucking
Hello.
voice sounds like that, man. Oh. Did you ever thought of creating your own fiction, nonfiction franchise series? Yes, actually, I have a story that I'm writing. It's called Overseer of Olympus. It's a Greek mythology tale that kind of twists the mythology in a way and flips it on its head, really. Oh, we lost Skyhound. He'll probably be back, but I would love to see a prequel to the original Top Gun with Maverick's dad, with Tom Cruise's approval. I don't think we will ever see another Top Gun, honestly, because if you watch the special features, you see that they actually say there will never be another movie like this again.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's better to keep it that way. It was just a nice little happy ending he had there.
Yep. But also, to get back to the Overseer of Olympus thing, I'm writing it, but right now I have such a huge freaking writer's block. I have a Google Doc that I can share with you, Neozoic. If you're on Twitter, I can send it to you, but it's of what I have written so far. But it's kind of like Percy Jackson in that it takes place in today's time. However, it's not going to be some stupid ass kids camp that they go to. This is actual shit it's real life sort of shit. It has it's not meant for kids. It's adult based. It's not going to be for kids. Really?
Yeah, and for me,
I'm writing my own stories. Two of them are set in the same
universe. So yeah, it's kind of.
I'm muting you, Junebug, because I'm still hearing myself on yourself, dude.
Yeah,
that's weird.
Sorry,
Orange Hat. Unfortunately, I don't have Twitter, but best of luck on your story. Do you have any other social media like Discord or anything like that, Neozoic? And take it easy, Jamie. Thank you for staying on and wish me happy birthday. They should actually get my hours up to maybe like 3,400 because I'm still trying to get my fucking hours up. I mean, I was up to 3,200 before the new year, and then it dropped down to almost 30 or almost below 3,100, and it's really freaking tough to get the damn hours in.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how many hours I've got. I don't think I've unlocked that part yet, but I know, or no, I think I've unlocked like 400 watch hours. I think maybe that's as most as I've gotten. Maybe.
Oh, also, I do want to give a shout out to a smaller channel, Rhetorical Thrill, who received monetization recently.
Nice.
So, congratulations to the gal, Rhetorical Thrill. She is a great YouTuber. She does reviews, and she does, or she came on my channel to talk for a guest choice review for Death Becomes Her. Excuse me. And
Anyway,
31.
Chat, considering that I know I discussed with you about, we were going to be planning to go over the 95 MMPR film.
All right.
I know that I'm still rewatching it, making notes, and I'm just kind of getting everything together because one, I've talked with a few of the Ranger actors in terms of how it was on set and a few other things. But that being said, considering that you Jet Sparks are also a fan of the franchise and all, what
Absolutely.
was the first Ranger show that you watched that you recall back then?
Oh man,
The original.
I think the first one I actually thoroughly watched, or actually I actually had a few of the toys. Vaguely remember having a few of the toys from Zeo and Turbo back in the day, back when I was little. But I didn't really truly was thoroughly watching and enraptured by the show until Let's Be Rescue and Time Force. Every single day, it was get off the bus and watch Time Force every day after school.
There's actually a
4:30 on Fox.
Yeah, when it was still airing on Fox Kids. Yeah, and they aired reruns of the show on weekdays. Yep.
Yep.
So here's a little funny story that I actually did, and this was back when I was a member of Power Rangers Playback, a YouTube channel done by the two Zeo ladies, Catherine Sutherland and Nikia Baris. So I was actually asking them one time on their live stream, a question about, which Ranger season was their favorite. So when I came up with this username, Skyhound, the only reason why I did it, though, is I was just trying to make it unique because I didn't want the username error to come up. So I exchanged the O with a 0, and it caught those two off guard so quickly that they were laughing for about 90 seconds because of that one tiny change that I did. So they had trouble reading it. And I was told by some of the actresses that, Nikia laughing is so infectious, and they were not joking. Even I myself was laughing as I was just waiting for them to read my question.
Nice.
But the thing is, though, is that I only got up to a certain season into the Disney era before I eventually went into the Japanese counterpart. What made me realize it, however, call it late, but it's when the end credits roll, and then you see the Japanese title of the show that I was based on, and I was like, oh, no wonder it almost looks differently.
And which season was this in the Disney era?
Ninja Storm for me.
Yeah, it's based off Hurry Kenger, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I do also like what Jack of All Casuals say in the chat. I think the last season where they actually filmed it in California was Wild Force, and this was in the transitional period when the rights of the franchise were sold to Disney. Again, it's crazy. I even responded to a Twitter thread about a few months back. Like, what if Disney still owned the rights to the franchise? I just simply replied, never again. And given the way Disney is now, like they would just find some way to screw it up. And heck, they were pretty much embarrassed to even be like funding the production of Power Rangers right after like SPD. They were really like embarrassed by it.
Mhm.
Or like even
What'd you
right
think
after
of
like
the
Dino-
2017er?
So for the most part. But
Nah.
from what I hear,
I liked
most of
the
the
concept.
actors. The funny thing is, though, is that from what I heard, for some of the actors, like there was definitely a lot of things wrong about it. But for the most part, I would say just the characterization, the designs, and the writing were definitely the big three issues.
The design is actually something I thought was pretty cool, to be completely honest.
Yeah, personally, I really did like the look. I really did kind of like the look of Rita Repulsa in a way. It's just kind of more hardcore and crazy, and it's something akin to like because again because we know in the movie she's the original Green Ranger.
Mm-hmm. And that was actually one of the things that I thought was pretty cool. But I also like the more organic look to the suits as well. They gave that look a more organic look. Plus, having having Jason David and Amy Jo in the film was also a good touch here and there. They actually had him in there twice with a deleted scene cameo.
Yep,
where they were at the restaurant between Trini and Kimberly doing their little kung fu tofu kung fu moves with the silverware.
Yeah, but it makes you also wonder if Tui Trang was actually still alive. What do you think she'd still be doing? What do you think she'd be doing? Would she be still active?
She did she did Crow City of Angels, so she definitely moved into a more serious aspect of film. I think that she would have gone mainstream if she had lived.
That's possible.
Yeah, it is possible. I mean, again, I know. Even there are
she played a very dark role.
Yeah, and there actually are a couple other actors that actually had gone mainstream in a way, like Anna Hutchinson. She got her start on Power Rangers Jungle Fury, and Rose McIver starred in iZombie, and she also was in the new show on CBS called Ghosts, which is I think it's currently going through its second season right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're active, and also Ika Darville did Spartacus Blood and Bone. He also was in Jessica Jones as well, and he also was in
original. Go ahead.
Ika Darville is the RPM Red Ranger, and also I like what Nia Zoic here says in the chat. We'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, he was in Jessica Jones also. And he was also in a couple episodes of that short-lived Fox TV show, Terra Nova, where they basically
that one I have seen. Terra Nova, I've seen that one. That was okay for the most part.
Yeah. So, but opinion on RPM, I like it because again, it's Mad Max meets Terminator. They go post-apocalyptic.
That's what a lot of fans have been telling me, though, in terms of not just the writing and the direction, but also most of the characterization, at least for most of the characters. Now, in terms of like the backstory, like for example, Dr. K, from what I've heard, it's extremely tragic, but
yes,
it adds so much depth to her characters. So kudos to the writers on that. And I really got to get myself back into watching that because a lot of fans said that one is just amazeballs. Just pure amazing.
Exactly. I mean, again, the backstories are often the best one. I mean, I think originally they said that originally Ranger Black was supposed to be the season finale, but they just left it at that. But also, I think that's like, again, we already know that Judd Lin came in halfway through the season, but it all started with Eddie Gazelian. But again, he's worked with Disney for a long time, and he actually was, and I quote, really freaked out and weirded out by the Sentai, especially the fact that the Zords actually had eyes and they were sentient. It was
the other thing is that with the Zords, it occurred to me for some of the Sentai seasons, there are, like you said, Jet, they are sentient, and in the Japanese version, they actually talk.
Yes.
English version, it's the exact opposite.
Yeah, again, they really lean into the meta humor thing, and they even question why do we have to scream the morph call at the top of our lungs? And of course,
Yeah.
Ziggy obviously talks about the background explosions that happen. Again, they really lean into that whole meta humor.
Here's a good question for y'all. Who remembers tattooed teenage alien fighters from Beverly Hills?
Only
I did
heard of
not
it
know.
just by
I
name,
did not know.
but never watched it at all.
Yeah, I only first heard about it through like Wikipedia, and then when I saw like actual footage, like, oh my god, what the hell is this? Jesus Christ!
Who remembers
It's an
Big Bad
abomination of
Beetleborgs?
That
Oh,
one, I know that one.
Definitely, I watched that. I think I even had like the Beetle Bonder like McDonald's toy back in the day.
Since we're
Alright.
kind of going into adaptations here, right now, both versions of this is already going to be celebrating its 30th anniversary. Gridman and at Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad at the same time.
Wow.
They're both
Oh,
celebrating their 30th. Now that I
Oh,
mentioned
right.
about it, I might as well show you guys. I had someone do a custom pillow for me some years back
Oh wow, that's cool.
Cool.
from the show. Exactly,
Nice.
just a chess piece.
That's awesome.
Nice.
So in a sense, I'm a little bit of a fan because, like, well, I watched the American one first, but then
Oh.
after watching the Japanese version, it occurred to me, damn, they made a major error. But then again, this is American writing. They used the final episode as a Christmas special in terms of time traveling, and I'm like, seriously, that's the best you guys could do. So it's
Oh.
only the reason why I only have the first half, but not the second.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Who
What were they
remembers
even
VR
doing?
Troopers?
Oh my gosh, I cannot
That
believe
was
I
good.
actually I remember
a good
seeing
one.
that. I personally didn't like. I personally just did it because it didn't make a lot of sense to me because all the footage. Honestly, when you look at it, it's far too old. It's far too old.
Yeah.
True. And they were
Now,
trying
what
to
was that
combine a
one
lot
that-
of different elements.
There was one that the Power Rangers actually crossed over with that I couldn't another show.
They did a bit of a crossover
Oh.
with Master Rider
Oh
because they
yeah,
were trying to
yeah.
adapt. They were adapting Kamen Rider Black RX. That was
Yeah.
the last of the Heisei era. I mean, not Heisei, Showa. Era.
Showa era.
Yeah,
Showa
it's
era.
because it's like I remember that they crossed over something, and then it became its own show on freaking Fox or on Fox
Oh,
Kids and whatnot.
And they're also yeah, Power Rangers in Space. They also crossed over with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, the
They're
next
actually-
mutation. That one was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what the heck?
Yeah, that made
Even-
no sense. But heck, even
Wow.
like, go ahead.
No.
Cayman Lee even mentioned that he didn't like that one as much, and he's a
Yes!
big turtle fan.
Yes,
Because
that was crazy.
I remember I was talking with him once though, and when we were discussing a bit about not just Power Rangers but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and his project Bloodline of the Grid, I could tell that he knew some of the actors and he could kind of name a few off the bat. But the one thing that was like pretty obvious is there was a clip I came across on YouTube. I forgot whose it was, but he actually once asked, where the fuck was Splinter?
Yes. Yeah. But moving on a little bit, back to one of the other questions that Jack of All Casuals asked first. The Beetleborgs were in Wild Force in the Power of Red episode. That's like Forever
Forever
Red.
Red.
Yeah. They technically just recycled the Beetleborg costumes, but they just made them generals of the Machine Empire from Zeo.
Right.
And of course, they also were unearthing Serpentera on the moon. Of course, we already know. But the whole final sequence against that, where they had to fight Serpentera, it basically boiled down to a CGI fest, only to sell that Wild Force Rider toy.
Yeah,
And
that's
sell-
what
and
I
sell it as a-
heard.
Yeah, that's
I
what it was.
never, to answer Neozoic, I never really got past Power Rangers The last thing that I remember was the Gold Ranger, the Pyramid, and these freaking mechanical clunky villains.
Yeah,
And
Oh, the
the
Machine
Tommy had
Empire. That's in
Tommy
Zero.
had a brother and some mystical arrowhead.
yes,
That's
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
as
he-
far as
the
I
brother
remember.
can you spare an
Yeah.
arrowhead? That was the name of the episode.
yeah, they
that's as
basically
far as I remember.
yeah, they essentially established that Tommy is Native American. And
Yeah.
yes, the Native American, yes, a person who's Native American became the Red Ranger. Whoops.
Whoops, indeed.
Yeah, I mean, we already saw that whole thing. Yeah, again, the same thing happened with, the Black Ranger being a black guy, and of course, we had the Yellow Ranger being Asian.
Mhm.
But again,
When
they
in the
didn't.
original, it was
Yeah.
actually a guy.
Yeah, because that's something that they actually showed until they had to reshoot some stuff and they gave her a skirt.
Yeah, but also here's the other thing though. They didn't do that sort of same thing again until like Operation Overdrive, which I think is probably the worst out of all the Disney seasons personally. That plus
Honestly,
this-
looking back, that one was cringe.
Yeah.
Volcantro was better though.
Yeah, I could say that. It sounded a lot better.
What
And
was
The thing
that?
was though, with regards to Forever Red, I have discussed about it with Christopher Kamen Lee a little bit, and he explained to me that out of everyone else that was doing that episode, his was the only one that had a script change, because canonically we know, for those of us who are familiar with Ranger lore, Zordon asked Andros to shatter his energy tube,
Mhm.
and the original line was for him, and I'll just try to reiterate based on memory. West goes, I changed history. So how does he have a fan club and I don't? Which is a reference to the MMPR fan club back then for
Yes.
those who were fans. And
Yes.
then Andros goes, originally, I had to kill Zordon to save the world, but instead we get, hey, I saved 2 worlds. What do you think about that? And then
Yes, he said
TJ ends
KN35 and Earth.
Mhm.
Yes,
and then TJ
exactly.
ends with, wait. Did I ever tell you guys the time that it got baked into a giant pizza? And everyone's like, yeah, we heard it.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm pretty sure most people would not want to remember. That's like one of the worst moments of Power Rangers where it's at its lowest.
What was
Now,
your
another- Go
sorry,
ahead.
but what was your first impressions of Lord Zed when he first came to Power Rangers?
When I first saw him, I was like, that is one intimidating villain that I
Yes.
would not want to cross.
Yeah, that guy
I
is
mean-
scary. That dude is scary.
When or his voice, the freaking brain exposed.
Mhm.
Yes.
This is a kid,
Yeah.
or when I was a kid, I'm like, that's freaking scary.
Yeah, rest
Yeah.
in peace, Robert Axelrod.
Yes. God
He
bless
was-
that man. God bless that man.
He was the actor that played him.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, now bringing it up, 2009 was actually the second time I went to Anime Expo, but at that point they actually moved, and at the time I didn't know about Power Morphicon, so 2009 was literally for me a mini Power Morphicon before it even began. So I actually met Steve Cardenas,
Cool.
Karen Ashley,
Nice.
Barbara Goodson, Robert Axelrod, Catherine Sutherland, Blake Foster, and I actually crossed paths again with another Ranger who was actually the first one I met, Patricia Jolie, Cassie.
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
So
Now-
here's the funny story about the time when I met her. 2007 was my first time I went to a convention, but at the time, since I was a huge otaku, they were promoting an anime called The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. Patricia was cosplaying to promote the anime. I didn't know at the time later, but Johnny Young Bosch actually voices a character in that anime. But since Patricia was promoting the anime, she was also hosting the dance contest for the ending of that anime, and the 3 seiyuu for the main characters in that anime were the judges. So me and my best friend, we participated, and I was actually waiting in line and I saw all four of them together, and I was just like totally starstruck. I was like, I can't believe I'm actually doing this.
Wow.
So
Oh man.
2009,
That's
I tried to explain the situation to her, but last few seconds, I had a brain fart because I forgot the supposed group name that we were supposed to have, because technically you're supposed to have like 5 people for the dance contest, and it's just me and my best friend. So the other 3 couldn't make it, and by the time I remembered it, I was like, "Shoot, I forgot something." But
Wow.
yeah, I heard though later that
Nice.
someone unfortunately messed up the experience for Patricia after
Isn't
2009.
Isn't that the Green Ranger or the sword the Green Ranger used?
Yeah, the Sword of Darkness.
The Sword
Yeah.
of Darkness. I got this at Indiana Comic Con 2021.
Damn, dude.
My dad
That's
got
awesome.
Yeah, I wanted to really get my hands on that, so I saw it, and it was really cool. Actually, there was a guy that was cosplaying up. I asked him, he said he wanted to. I said I could take a picture and let him pose with it, but I actually wanted a prop. Next time I get to go to, I'm gonna get an actual another katana, and I need to get like another blade for the lightsaber, the Ultra Sabers lightsaber I got here. So I just need to get a brand new blade, or I'm gonna get one of those flat acrylic blades from like Kyber Lights, because I think the Ultra Sabers blades they cost like a lot of money. They cost like a lot of money for like shipping too. It's just
yeah. One of the things I also wanted to ask before we get going, because we got 9 minutes left. The difference between the voice of Lord Zed in the Power Rangers movie that we're going to be talking about and sometime, and the television show, which one did you think was best?
Obviously
those two,
obviously the show.
From what I recognized though, when looking back at it and also watching some of the episodes, they were both the same actor, even though I know they were likely using different suit actors for the character. Now, the one thing that if I had to like choose like which one was better in terms of performance, probably I'd have to go with the one from the show, because the film there was very little in terms of Lord Zed, but we do kind of get a little bit of how supposedly powerful he is, though, when Ivan sort of ticks him off.
Yeah.
I
mean, that was one part that I did like. He's like, nobody crosses Lord Zed and lives.
And
then he just blasts him, and it's like, stop it, it tickles.
I actually had no idea that was Renee Bullock until like until like recently. I had no idea that was like Renee Bullock from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Raiders of the Lost Ark, yeah.
It's like, wait, that's Ivan Hills?
Yeah, it's like,
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And also, going back, let's go back a little bit further. Is like thoughts on the Power Rangers multiverse, which certain seasons are in other universes. To answer that question quickly, it's RPM, and RPM, Dino Charge, and honestly, I can say maybe Beast Morphers too. I think we don't know. I mean, most
between those 3.
Yeah,
I like that trailer that they did for that fan-made thing that they were doing with the dark white Green Ranger with the evil Tommy.
Oh yeah, I mean Lord Draken, yeah.
Oh, Draken, yeah.
Didn't they?
That was
in that
was
universe,
a promo for the comics.
In that universe, didn't they have, or didn't the Yellow Ranger kind of betray the rest of them and join him?
No, that was one of the
Sentries.
Yeah, that was.
That was a Sentry.
Yeah, the one that betrayed the others and joined him as like the Ranger Slayer was Kimberly from the Parallel Universe. And you also have the coin.
Well, yeah, that would make sense because she was always infatuated with his ass.
Yeah, I mean, again, high school romance, that kind of stuff. But
high school romance, when they did the freaking Back in Time with the Cowboy Rangers, they even had those two freaking meeting. I mean, she was, let's face it, folks, she was thirsty for, or those two were destined for each other, man.
Yeah, but now that I think like that Soul of the Dragon comic, I think it confirmed that Catherine and Tommy are married pretty much. Because
Yeah,
I-
it even
even
goes
though that-
that
Yeah.
kind of confirmed it though, considering that Ninja Steel did bring it up
Yeah.
first, and then they mentioned about them having a kid. Soul of the Dragon kind of like, from my observation,
cemented it, yeah.
cemented that part.
They also had, or I remember a death battle that they did between the Dragon Zord and Mecha
Mecha Godzilla.
Yeah,
Mechagodzilla.
I saw that one, Mecha Godzilla versus Dragonzord. That one was brutal.
Yeah, and it wasn't the original Mechagodzilla. It was the Kiryu one.
Yeah, it was Kiri. I remember that.
And I'm like, which one won again? I think it was Green Rain, or I think it was Dragon Zord that won, if I remember correctly.
I might need to double check that one. I'm pretty sure it's Kiri.
And also another thing to answer another question. Yes, Lord Zed was a fully American villain.
Yeah,
whilst
because there was no
everyone-
Sentai counterpart.
Yeah, there
And
wasn't.
they were just
yeah.
using elements from the season after Z Ranger, which was Kaku Ranger.
Yeah, so here's
Also,
all
they
the
were
villains.
always changing the look of Goldar too.
Yeah,
Oh,
and here's the thing.
There was some
Yeah.
times when he looked more like a teddy bear, and there were other times when he looked absolutely freaking ferocious.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, I think Diva Talks is an American invention, is an American villain. Astronema is an American villain, and also we have Drakina and Scorpius in
What
Lost
about
Galaxy. And then we got Lost
Scorpina,
Right.
or whatever her name was.
Scorpina,
Goldar's
Yes.
girlfriend.
I think, yeah, in a way. But
Yeah,
yeah.
Scorpina, she wasn't the original one.
Yeah, she
Now,
wasn't. Yeah, she wasn't.
If we were
Z-Ranger,
trying
yeah.
to expand here, after Trakina, then when you get to Lightspeed,
Yeah,
that
they
was
went.
the first time they
used.
did an American Ranger, which was Ryan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they still use the Sentai villains.
Yeah, for
But-
the most part.
And Time Force, again, obviously probably one of the best villains we had. Rancic, played
Rancic.
by the great Vernon Wells.
Yeah, amazing.
And then we had and also we had Master Org. Another fun fact, that was the suit he wore was actually from Die Ranger. They just recycled that costume that one of the main villains from Die Ranger wore.
You know,
Ironically,
now you
if
mentioned
they're
about recycling stuff. It just occurred to me. After looking back onto Lost Galaxy, I did watch Mega Ranger.
Mhm.
They used the final form of the villain in Sentai for Lost Galaxy.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You want to know who I want to see back in the 30-year anniversary film that they got coming out?
who?
Bulk and Skull.
Oh, those two.
They need to bring those two back.
Yeah,
No,
Paul
well,
Scheer
Yeah,
and
Paul Scheer and
Shu.
Shu, and they actually did have. They technically had they had the reunion in Samurai. Yeah, at the end of the show, they had their little reunion.
I would love to see those guys or see what they're doing nowadays.
Well, given what that Skull walks up in a limo, and given the fact that he's very musically gifted, I can say that maybe he's like a world famous piano player or he's a music producer. I wouldn't be surprised if he could do either or. And heck, I actually would have preferred that Skull be the Gold Ranger instead of Antonio in the show. And the fact that he can like roll through, that would like really have been like, you know, a thing that ties him to like the Gold Ranger counterpart in Shinkenger. That would have been perfect.
Didn't Skull play in the movie The Rock?
You mean the one with Nicolas Cage and
Yeah, wasn't he the stylist?
I might need to rewatch that one again though. It's been a while.
What was the name of the actor who played Skull? The thin one.
Yeah, I know who Skull is. Yeah.
Oh, you're referring to Jason Narvi?
Yeah, Jason Narvi. Yeah, Jason Narvi.
Well, let me check because God, that would be so
Yeah.
freaking coincidental.
Yeah. Rancic's daughter. Yeah, she was watching Masked Rider as a meta joke. And also moving further,
Oh yeah, I
we had
remember that.
Master. Yeah, we had Master Org, of course, who was played by that actor. I forgot his name. And then we also had, like, of course, when we finally got to Ninja Storm, we actually had an American villain, Lothor. And Also, another great American villain, Mesogog, was also great.
Oh, I love Mesogog and Dino Thunder.
Yeah, and then we got Emperor Grum and SPD. They still use the Sentai villains in Mystic Force.
Jim Caviezel was in The Rock? Huh.
Yeah.
I did not know
And
that.
also-
He was a rear pilot.
Yeah,
Anthony
but also-
Clark was Paul the hotel barber. No, it wasn't him.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, exactly. So the thing is, yeah,
Damn.
once we get to like Jungle Fury, yeah, we have like again, it was like they still use the counterparts still, but they had actual American actors play the counterparts from Geki Ranger for Jungle Fury, like
Mhm.
being Camille and Camille / Jared and / Daishi, that sort of duality. And then we got RPM with Venjix being the main antagonist instead of it just being
Not to
those
confuse
four.
it with the one from the
Yeah,
Forever
yeah,
Red one,
Forever-
but
yeah,
that's a
exactly.
common mistake right there.
Yeah, that's a weird mistake there. But yeah, and again, we already find out in Beast Morphers that Evox is actually Venjix, but she's still. But they
That
still
was
refer
a
to
hell
him
of a
as-
twist. I was like,
Actually,
didn't see that coming.
I actually kind of knew. I actually kind of figured they were leading up to that. I was like, I freaking knew it. I knew he was Venjix the whole time.
I mean, those that watched RPM though likely knew, but for ones like myself, I was like, I didn't see that coming at all.
Worst season ever.
All right.
Blasphemy. Yeah.
We are at time. Sorry, folks.
Yeah.
But we are. We got it. We had a good conversation going. Sorry.
Exactly. We
kill it.
did. We did.
But I gotta be up in like 6 hours because I gotta restack the fireplace. I live up in the Adirondacks where this is a 130-year-old house. And this house does not have central air or central heating. That thing over there is the only thing that keeps this house warm.
Oh, one of those old things.
It's a wood stove. Yeah.
Yep.
And so, yeah, thank you guys for coming on, though. We will, or if you are able to, we can do the Power Ranger guest choice review a lot sooner. And Jet Sparks, if you want to actually join in on that one where we discuss the original film,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
you're definitely
Absolutely.
welcome to come on to that. We just have to find out when a good time to do it is.
Yeah,
course.
because I know. Yeah, because for me, like February 10th, I'm going to be doing a full Let's Play of the Mass Effect series of the Legendary Edition of Mass Effect. So if you can get me a little before that time, because I know I'm going to try to at least stream the game every day, all 3 games for at least hopefully for the next few months or so. So my schedule is gonna be like a little like tied up until then. But if you got a free time, I can do it. I'll definitely come on and do it. Just let me know.
Anytime between now and February 10th, you said, or 9th?
Yeah, February 10th. Yeah, next Friday.
Well, when's a good time for you, Skyhound?
I might be able to try doing it on the 10th. I can do it on the 10th.
You could do it on the 10th?
Yeah.
What time is good for you guys?
I'd say somewhere between like, in terms of like the latest, since I'm over on the Pacific Standard Time, I'd say like 6 to 9 ish. I mean 6 to 10, if that works.
6
6
o'clock.
p.m. 6 to 10
6 p.m. would be 9 p.m. my time. So the 10th at 9 p.m. Does that work for you, Jet Sparks, or?
No, that's actually when I plan to start the stream around 6 p.m.
All right. So is there?
Yeah, I can try to do sooner.
All right. Well, let me know on Instagram, Skyhound, whatever, or a date sometime before then. I can also get the thumbnail mocked up.
Of course.
All righty. Well, anyway, folks, thank you guys for so much for joining in. Jet Sparks, Skyhound, and everybody in the chat. There was a lot of people in the chat. I couldn't cover them all. But Stig, Colt, Classic Cage, Jack of all casuals, everybody in the chat. Thank you all for joining in on my birthday stream. Wish me happy birthday. And screw all those trolls. Thank you. But I will thank the trolls for telling me exactly who you are without telling me exactly who you are, because you guys now just opened your asses up for a harassment suit.
Mhm.
So thank you to everybody who wished me happy birthday on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Thank you to everybody in the chat and to the panelists that came on. You all are freaking awesome. We're going to keep this channel growing even more. I'm at 1,200 now. Hopefully, we'll probably be maybe at 2,000 by the end of this year. Who knows? But definitely going to keep on focusing on the smaller channels to help get their voices up and heard more. To get, or hopefully, I'm going to try to help get Riot Kitty up to 1,000 sometime soon. But yes, everybody, always remember the most important rule to being a great YouTuber: staying humble. Thank you so much, folks. Y'all have a wonderful night. And, well, yeah, stay humble. And thanks again for the
Have a good
birthday
one.
wishes.
Peace out, everybody.